is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
What? Oh, look.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
And keeping it locked. What happened? What happened? What the audio? Oh, okay. Do we have the audio now? Are we good now? Are we good in the hood? Give me a thumbs up. Come on, give me that thumbs up on the chat board there. Got several already on the chat board, so I just want to make sure. Apparently, we got a yes. Okay, we're good. We're ready to go. Good morning, one and all, from beautiful Hialeah Park, where we want you to come on out, man, and join us. We got this whole second floor here to us, all kinds of tables and chairs. They got great food. They'll serve breakfast, by the way. Okay? And lunch. So if you're here early with us, you can have breakfast. You hang out till noon and you want to wait to eat, you can have lunch, correct? You've had breakfast and lunch here, right? So you can do that. We got drinks, soda, water, liquor too if you want. Got the second floor poker room. So all the great people out here at Hialeah Park, the Brunetti family, nice captain's chairs, all the TVs. I mean, the atmosphere is perfect. First floor poker, first floor on the casino. They've got all the machines. They got like 900 machines or something like that. And by the way, it's a smoke-free casino. So come on out, join us, man. I'm telling you, I promise you guys, if we can make it a thing here, okay? Because it's not something that they plan for or I plan for. But I see all these empty chairs and tables, and I'm sure they probably have more action in the evenings for these chairs and tables. Like there's a lot of people over here playing poker, but right here it's nice and quiet. I'm telling you, if you guys come out here and start making it a thing, I guarantee you we will start giving out some prizes because I think it'll be a cool thing to kind of make an atmosphere out here to have some fun. So if you live in the South Florida area and you're free on Thursday, midday mornings, afternoon, that kind of stuff, come on out, man. Join us. I promise you, we want some fun. I think it'll be cool during the breaks. We can hang out, take some pictures, talk, answer your questions, all kinds of stuff like that. So I would definitely like to make it a thing. We're making it a thing traveling around the country to different bars, man. Got another bar reached out to us yesterday on our business line at 786-754-4664. A couple days ago, we had the Mojo Grill in Ocala reach out to us. We had another company reach out to us. So if you want to reach out to us, I am – the challenge is which is the first dolphin business or heat business, because I'm also intrigued by a heat bar. That would be cool, although we're in the off season now, kind of in a way. But still, I would love to see if there's a heat bar outside of Florida. But dying to see like a either a sponsor or a dolphin bar that's outside of the country. That's going to be interesting. But thank you all for reaching out to us on our business line at 786-754-4664 if you want to be a part of our program and our platform as it continues to grow. And we appreciate all of you out there for helping us grow. I see Steve Chapman and Jamie already in the house, and Omar and Ian and Greater Good and Ravens Rook Miniatures. That's an interesting one there. We are loaded today, as always. Anthony Chang will join us at 10:20. We got Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight, so that's good. So we'll talk to Chang about the finals. We'll get his thoughts on the Heat. We'll get his thoughts on the trade market. Christian sporting some wood got traded yesterday. Pretty much. Did you think they gave up much? Boban Marjanovic, Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, and the number 26 pick in the first round. I don't think it was that much. I got to tell you, and let me look, that Christian Wood trade, if Miami can't land the whale, that was one of the guys that I would say that would be my secondary type of player that I would go after, because it's a stretch four, it's a guy that can play for PJ Tucker at times. Now you can bring PJ Tucker back and you don't have to wear him out because Christian Wood could play. And I think that would be actually really good. And at times you can actually swing Christian Wood into the center spot and give Bam some rest if you want a more dynamic center. So it kind of would have really worked out for the Heat to add a guy like Christian Wood, and you really didn't have to give up much. When you look at that, I mean, I thought it was a hell of a deal for Dallas overall. I mean, Marquise Chris is a nice player. Trey Burke's been a rotational guy. Sterling Brown. Boban, I mean, I love Boban's commercials. I mean, is there anything else I can get? Because I can reach it. You know, I mean, I love it. You know, he's great in commercials. Those State Farm commercials. He's trying to clean the table because nobody's using the coasters. I mean, I got to say, he's entertaining in commercials. Boban is right up there in commercials, right? He's like one of the top guys. And I love it because he's got a great sense of humor, self-deprecating. He is in the new Adams. I have no idea.
I believe he is in Hustle. I believe he is.
Okay.
I watched it. I think that's him.
All right. I didn't know. I haven't seen the movie, so I have no idea. But somebody will probably confirm your point. But I like this move for Dallas. It's a really good move, man. And what he's going to be able to play with Doncic, perfect player. I mean, that is awesome. And they didn't really give up. Like, they still kept their little guy who's a badass. So, you know, they did a nice job overall. That was a good move for Dallas. And I got to say, a little cringe worthy for me as a Heat fan, because if you don't land that whale, I'm going to be going, wow, man, the Christian Wood move. You know, that's a move that they had the goods for. What, they have the 27th pick? What's the difference between the 26th and the 27th pick? You know what I mean? I would give up Duncan and, you know, another couple of players there for him. Go ahead. Let's go, man. I don't know. That was a good move. Good move for Dallas, man. Good move for Dallas. They're getting Christian Wood. Shaq actually learned about Christian Wood just 2 years ago. I remember watching TNT, and he had no idea who Christian Wood was. And I'm like, dude, you're like an NBA analyst, supposedly, and you know you should know all the players. And I was kind of laughing because I had him as one of my keepers because he's a good player. I like Christian Wood, man. I like Christian Wood. So good move by the Mavs. One less move as a backup plan for the Miami Heat. And you got to love how the NBA season ends, and it's the Wild West already, man. I mean, the NBA offseason is a lot of fun. It's the NBA postseason, the NBA offseason, and then the NBA regular season. That's the order, actually. That's the way it goes. Sometimes the NBA offseason is better than the postseason sometimes. It's always better than the regular season. You know, that's why we have our reports year round, because we're going to have our insiders on during the season and off season when a lot of very important things are going on during the off season. The guys are going to be talking draft next week, and obviously they'll be getting into free agency and all kinds of stuff. So it's good stuff. Miami Sports Fanatic says, please come to Reno, Nevada, Big O. Well, we'll be in Vegas July 5th through the 15th. Okay? So I think you're going on the 6th, right? 7th? So he's going on the 7th. I'm going on the 5th because I've got Morrissey on the 6th. I've got priorities. You know, I've got priorities. So I've got to go a little early. I got a very important concert. No, I think you go on the 6th. Because usually I usually have you, you know, whenever we travel, we got to arrive the day before a broadcast. I doubt I have you there on the 7th. That doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure it's the 6th. 7th? It is? All right. Well, there we go. On the 7th. Early in the morning? Or is that an evening show? Evening arrivals. I wonders. All right. So we're there, and you're there like through the 15th, right? Yeah, you leave with me, right? You don't arrive the same day, but you leave with me the same day. Yes, that's how it is. That's how it be. Night? Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Because we got to do the show earlier. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that would make sense. So we will be in Vegas, so you can come on by and join us. Unless you know a sponsor that wants to bring us down to Reno, to the biggest little city in the world, right? Isn't that what they call Reno? The biggest little city in the world or something like that? Two Extreme says he's in Hustle and John Wick. John Wick? Where's he in John Wick? Damn. I've seen John Wick a whole bunch of times. Trying to remember, was Boban in John Wick? Wow. Now you're going to make me go watch John Wick tonight. Where the hell's Boban? U.S. Open has teed off. Should be a good one. Doesn't really get me like. Oh, and John Wick 3. Oh, okay. Well, that hasn't even come out yet, right? Oh no, yeah, that is out. Yeah, that's the one. That's the. Wait, no, there's 1, 2. Yeah, there is 3, right? 3 is the one that they go. He has to kill that woman, right? Is that the one that she then ends up like killing herself, actually, right? The sister, because the brother is the one that hired him to something like that, so he can kill the sister and take her place in the table or something like that. I think isn't that 3? I want to say. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O Nation. May your Thursday be a blessed one. Stay happy, stay positive, have a great day. Thank you, sir. Yes, he is. Ernest the bad guy. Sports Fanatic says, I will definitely love to join you, Big O. And yet, biggest little city, my man. Listen, Big, I'm a hustler. I can go to work for you and get you a sponsor to Reno, my man. I don't play. Very serious. Well, hey, listen, I can't deny. Eddie Lepp did it. I mean, the great Eddie Lepp did it. And by the way, Eddie, we might be back in your area if we're in Ocala. All you folks out there that came by in the Daytona, Flagler Beach, St. Augustine area, we're going to be in Ocala. That's not too far away. So we'll definitely be out there. The plan, I don't know if it's going to happen with Mojo Grill. The plan is to be up there the weekend of the preseason game between the Bucks and the Dolphins. So if it goes well, we will broadcast there from Thursday and Friday at Mojo Grill. It's up to them now, of course. And then Saturday, we'll hang out there at the bar and watch the game with them on Saturday. Not work, just hang out. So if Mojo Grill steps up, we could be watching the Dolphins and the Bucks first preseason game there in at the Mojo Grill in Ocala. There you go. So, and again, if any other bar wants to step up in the world or business, we will travel. 786-754-4664 or Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. All right, we'll get Anthony Chang in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Dougie Fresh, you're on. On. By the way, you know who's on? I'm on 4 straight liquor split matchups of the night. Last night, we told you, or yesterday, we told you take the Lightning plus 1.5 in the game. And we ended up winning in our liquor split matchup of the night. So now we have won 4 in a row in our liquor split matchups of the night. And by the way, during that streak, Sean Stanley, baseball, basketball, and hockey have been won during that streak. 3 different sports during that streak. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Now, do we go for 5 in a row? Well, why don't we find out with our liquor split matchup of the night?
It's time to tap that app. And no one loves to tap that app like the Big O. Here's the liquor split matchup of the night.
Tonight we got Game 6 of the NBA Finals on ABC, a 9 o'clock start. Yeah, that's how we'll be tomorrow at KSDT offices. Nah, I think we'll be powering through. AG1's got me powering through, man. It's good. Anyway, so right now the line is Boston -4. The over and under is 210 in this game. The Golden State Warriors are plus 135, and Boston is minus 165 in this game. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors can clinch their 4th championship with this group, of course, because they won one back in the day, but their 4th championship in this run with this group if they win tonight, because they're leading 3-2. And the way it's gone, it's back and forth. And Golden State did what they had to do in the last game, which was win that home game and force Boston to have to beat you the next 2 games in order to win the championship. Can Boston do that? They actually can. They have the talent to do it. But I still think the Golden State Warriors are the more experienced team. I still think they're the more clutch team. And one of the things that I thought was going to happen the other night, and I got it right. By the way, the fixed pre-sales going on right now. I'm hoping I get my tickets there for the Amatorial Theater and get a good seat. But anyway, so it's gone back and forth, and the Celtics have never really been in this position. Golden State has. And in the last game, watching Wiggins come through and Poole come through and Draymond Green, who was in this haze those last couple of days because of the funk and everything that they were in. And so I think, for me, I think this team is going to go into this game with a lot of confidence. And I'm talking about the Warriors. And I think the Warriors are going to come out to play. And so, you know what? I'm going to take the 4 points in this one. Because worst case scenario, I don't believe this will be a blowout. I think the Golden State Warriors want to end this thing tonight. And I think Wiggins is going to come into this game with a lot of confidence. I think Draymond Green's going to come into this game with some confidence. I think even a Jordan Poole's going to come into this game with a lot of confidence. And I think Steph Curry is going to put the nail on the coffin on his MVP trophy, which will only be his second one, by the way, with this team, because he didn't win the other one. He didn't win a couple of them because Durant took them. And actually, he didn't win any of them. Iguodala took the other one. Yeah, Iguodala and Durant won the other 2. So I believe he has not won an NBA championship. Oh no, he did. And when they lost, actually, to Cleveland. That's what it was. So he hasn't won it in a winning cause. So, going to win it now. Going to win it tonight. Going to put together a 35-plus point performance. He'll be lights out from 3 like he normally is. I'm going to take Golden State +4. Worst case scenario, this is a tight loss in Boston. But I think the Warriors come out to play. That's what I think ends up happening. All right? That, my friends, is your liquor split matchup of the night.
The matchup of the night is brought to you by Liquor Split, Miami's own online liquor store. Liquor Split. Download then tap that app and get your favorite liquor delivered to you for just $2.99. No risk, no drinking and driving. Tap that app with Liquor Split.
All right, so he didn't even get it the year they lost. It was LeBron that got it. So he hasn't even won it. So he'll win it now. So he'll lock it up now. Oh, look out, look out, look out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are in row C for the fix. September 14th at the Amateur Theater in Broward Center. I love it. I love it. Yeah. That is awesome. 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 Looking forward to it. Love the fix. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. It's one of those bands that always enjoy. Let's see. Big O took my 14-year-old son to his first concert, took him to see Machine Gun Kelly. Good concert. There you go. Good for you, man. Big O, do you know why the San Francisco Warrior changed their names to the Golden State Warriors? Have zero idea why. I have no clue. But I do know that Anthony Chang is ready to go with our liquor split Miami Heat report.
Let's tap into the latest with the Miami Heat and our Liquor Split app Miami Heat reports with insider Anthony Chang. Liquor Split is Miami's own online liquor store. Download, then tap the app and get your favorite liquor delivered to you for just $2.99. No risk, no drinking and driving. Tap that app with Liquor Split. Here's Anthony Chang.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Anthony Chang. How you doing, my man? Doing good?
Doing good, Big O. How are you?
Very good. How you feeling?
Feel good. Yeah, finally. I was sick for the past 2 weeks, so I feel much better.
Yeah. It's one of those things, dude. It lingers too, you know. So
yeah,
it's lingered with a lot of people that I know. It's pain in the ass, buddy.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
No, lately it's been a cold. I mean, we have a 4-year-old in the house. She brings a lot of stuff home. So I've learned that. Yeah.
I have a daughter, and I live with a teacher. So
oh wow.
That's why I feed him the Nature Bee every day. Like, yo, get the Nature Bee and help me out so you bring less, so I get less. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel you. First of all, let's get into a trade that I thought was I didn't think they gave up much in the Dallas Mavericks for Christian Wood, and I love that guy. I think if Riley is not able to land a whale, that's the next level guy that I would have gone for, one of those kind of guys, because that would, if you can bring PJ Tucker back, you don't wear out PJ Tucker. Christian could have played center at times, even when you rest Bam, because he's dynamic enough. Plus, he's a stretch four. You know what I mean? I really love him for the Heat. That would have been a really nice trade. First of all, your thoughts on what Dallas gave up, and the second part, do you think he would have been a nice fit for the Heat?
Yeah, I thought it was a good trade for both sides, right? I think Houston wanted to trade him because they're going to draft probably a guy at his position at 3. They also have a guy entering his second season who also plays in the front court. So I think, it's opening up. Rockets are rebuilding, obviously, right? They want to play their young guys. So I get that. Christian Wood is on an expiring contract. So that makes him valuable. Helps Dallas, another pick and pop guy who can score, takes some of the offensive pressure off of Luka a little bit. Again, he'll be in a free agency year, right? So he'll be desperate this season, probably play his best basketball to get that big contract next offseason. So I think it helps both sides. As for the Heat, I mean, I know he was linked to the Heat. Offensively, I think he could have helped. But I think it was interesting, and I think we've talked about this, Big O. Pat Riley, during his press conference, really emphasized the need for two-way players, right? Two-way guys who not only can score but can defend. And Christian Wood on defense is not great. So
is he not great because of the environment he's been in? You know what I mean? The guy's been part of Detroit, Houston, and that's it, I think, right? Because he was
not even one more team, but those are the two really where he's gotten a lot of playing time.
Yeah. It reminds me of Andrew Wiggins that we're watching watching grow, and that's because he finally went to a good organization with the Warriors. But in Minnesota, it was just so up and down. There was no consistency, and it's just not a great franchise. So I just wonder, sometimes some players do need guidance. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I wonder if Christian Wood here would be a better defender.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, maybe the Heat have a way of turning guys into at least serviceable defenders, but that's one area where, yeah, he would have helped offensively, but there would have been questions about what is his defensive fit? Does he fit into the Heat scheme switching? Are they going to have to change the way they play? So that would have been a question. And second, we talk about the Heat trading for a big name guy, another top notch scorer, another all star. To get this deal done with Christian Wood, you likely would have had to trade Duncan Robinson to make the numbers work. And if you trade Duncan Robinson, that's a big piece that you need, most likely, to get a trade for a star done.
No, yeah.
So,
Remember, I said if you couldn't get the whale. So
right.
I was expecting or hoping that Christian Wood and maybe some other options
Right. This will be available later on.
after. That's
Yeah.
all I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm just
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about a perfect world,
Right.
So
And,
yeah,
and in
I
I think this early that he probably was said, obviously who knows what's going to happen, but you want to leave that possibility open, right? At this early,
right.
it's so early in the offseason. So I get why they probably did not go through with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I really like the move for Dallas.
Yeah.
By the way, for
Yeah,
Dallas, what a perfect fit.
for sure.
Oh my God, him and Doncic. That
Yeah.
that that is just perfect, dude. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted Porzingis to be that guy, right? Porzingis is so high profile. He came from New York where he was the guy. I don't know if that dynamic worked. Now Christian Wood can give you a lot of similar things. Is healthy, has a
Right.
better track record with health, and probably doesn't need as much. It's not as much of I don't want to say Porzingis is a diva, but he wanted the ball, and it was tough to work with Luca because Luca obviously deserved most of the offensive load.
Yeah, and listen, Porzingis is not healthy enough to be
Yeah,
demanding all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the other thing about Porzingis that would drive me crazy if I have to, own his contract or play with him as a teammate. It's got to be frustrating that guy's not available, dude. That's just
yeah, it's tough.
unacceptable. All right, tonight is Game 6. I just did my liquor split matchup of the night, which, by the way, we have won 4 in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, we're hot. And not only that, we've picked baseball, hockey, and basketball in those 4 games. So, and tonight, Boston's favored by 4. The over and unders 210.5. The minus, or let's say the Warriors are plus 135. The Celtics are minus 165. What do you like in this game?
Boston against the spread.
And you're laying the points?
I'm laying the points. I think they went up by double digits tonight.
Okay.
I've said it all series. I know that they're down 3-2. I think Boston's a better team. I think they kind of have to. I don't want to take credit away from Golden State because Golden State is very good, but the games Boston loses, it's because they're playing pretty bad, turning the
Right.
ball over everywhere, just kind of low IQ plays where you're like, what are you doing? So I think Boston at home, they've lost 2 in a row. I think they win tonight, force a game 7, and they win by double digits.
I actually think the other way. I think what happened in the last game,
Yeah,
that
broke the spirit.
Draymond got back on track. Wiggins played at an incredibly high
Yeah.
level. Poole. I think some of these guys are going to play better in a supporting role. Plus, I think Steph is going to bounce back from a crappy game and have
Right.
a lights out game tonight. And I think they don't want to go back to Golden State and leave it in doubt. I think I'm taking Golden State plus 4. That even if they lose, I'm on the opposite of you. I think they will actually keep it a close game, one way or the other.
Well, maybe I'll go with you, Bigo, because you've won a bunch in a row, and I've picked Boston to win this series, and they're down 3-2 right now. So maybe.
Well, but let me tell you,
you know something I don't.
I've had the last couple of weeks has been terrible, dude.
Mhm.
Now it's when I've just gotten on a little bit of a roll or whatever. But and listen, it's been hard to figure out these playoffs.
Oh yeah, it's been tough. Yeah, so many weird results that you just don't see coming at all,
and a lot of road losses that you know, in hockey, I'm used to road losses because I'm used to that home ice is not really that big a thing in hockey. But normally in the NBA, home court is a big thing. And this year, there's been a lot of, teams that you thought would win and didn't end up pulling it through on the road.
I think it points to the parity in the NBA right now. There isn't like that one dominant, clear-cut elite team like we've had in the past. It's a bunch of really good teams that, again, like I think the Heat were on that tier as well. Over Boston, Golden State, Miami, Milwaukee, Phoenix, I guess, until they collapsed in the second round. Like those teams, there's not really much separating them, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of unexpected results where road teams are winning uh, pretty consistently. I mean, what in the Miami Boston series, did Miami lose 3 road games? I think, or
Yeah.
3 home games.
Yeah. 3
And
home.
then they won it twice in Boston. I mean, it has been weird. One thing I wanted to mention, like one thing I'm looking for tonight, Golden State Boston, is the first 4 games of the series. They did not like really send two to Steph Curry. They didn't trap him, and Steph Curry went off. Game five, in Golden State, they trapped Steph and really took the ball out of his hands. And Steph didn't play well, but everyone else got off, and you kind of saw something that resembled more of the Warriors' offense, where Draymond was in the pocket, being able to be a facilitator, do what he does. Andrew Wiggins was able to take advantage of it. I wonder if Boston goes back to the way they were defending in the first 4 games, where they try to, just say, Steph, you're gonna go for 30, but we're gonna try to limit everybody else. It's gonna be interesting to see if they go back to that, or if they stick to what they used last game.
I think Wiggins is going to be enormous tonight again. And I think his defense is incredibly important to what
Sure.
they're doing. And if he can play some D and force
Yeah.
some of those turnovers that you were talking about, that when they're playing bad, it seems like Boston looks discombobulated,
Yeah.
and you get them out of their groove in a way. And if you can do that and disrupt them, and see, that's the thing. I think they've never been in this position before, whereas some of the Warrior players have, and that's the other thing that I'm counting on
Yeah.
tonight, that experience is going to end up paying off for them.
Yeah, Wiggins has been huge. I mean, with Golden State playing small, he's needed to defend up, which he's done. He's needed to rebound. He has 2 double-digit rebound games in a row now. He's, to me, I mean, yeah, Steph is the MVP of the finals most likely, but
Oh yeah,
Wiggins is a very close. Wiggins is, if he plays well tonight again, he's definitely second, I would say, for sure, in that race.
oh yeah, dude, yeah.
No doubt.
Wiggins has been an absolute beast, man, and
Yep.
I'm actually really proud of that kid, because he started off his career getting dished by LeBron, like, yeah, no, I got
Mhm.
something going on here. You're in my way. We're gonna ship you off to Minnesota. And then, his career there has been what the Timberwolves, although the Timberwolves showed some life this year finally, but still, it's still an up and down franchise, mostly down. And it's really easy to get down on yourself as a human being when things don't go your way for a certain amount of time. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that could happen to you and me if we switch jobs and we get down on ourselves, and or whatever, or life, you have one bad relationship after another, and you're like, man, I can't find somebody I want to be with. And it's easy to get down on yourself on constant failure. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
for him to kind of stick through it and then land on Golden State, and for them to put the work in, I look at Wiggins, and dude, he's a Heat player if I've ever seen a Heat player, right?
Yeah, I mean, he fits. He's a two-way guy. And
Right,
again, he coveted that. And
right.
he's talented. A guy you could, he went to Golden State. He already had the talent. It's just about learning different, becoming, I guess, more experience and learning championship ways from guys who have been there and done it. From Steph Curry, from Klay Thompson, from Draymond. And you've seen so much improvement, especially defensively. I mean, I don't remember him being considered a top-notch defender when he got to Golden
No,
State.
no.
They really challenged him to be that, and he's turned into one. It kind of shows you that, kind of what you were talking to at the beginning of this interview, Big O. If you're athletic, if you're skilled enough, you could probably be a good defender. It's just about being in the right system, um, and learning how to defend, and studying that part of the game.
Well, they knew that he's replacing the old guy that's on that team in Iguodala,
Right.
and they needed that guy. You know what I mean? And the Heat have had that guy for many, many years. There's been that kind of guy from Keith Askins to
Bruce Bowen,
Bruce Bowen. What's the guy with the P? The P that he
James Posey.
Posey. And then now you've got like a Tucker, and you've
Yeah.
had a UD. You've had you always have to have that
Jay
guy.
Crowder. Yeah.
Yeah, Crowder. You have to have that guy, and I think they they knew that once Iggy got older and left, they lost that element to their defense, and they figured and to their credit,
Yeah,
they looked at Wiggins and said he
he
fits
can be
that
that.
role. We need that guy, and they went and found him. And Riley's done that over the years to try and find that guy that's a defensive stud that comes in and is an incredible glue guy. Gary Payton did a little bit of that too when he was an older
Mhm.
player, helping out that team too at the same time. Not only Posey, but he would help out there, not only run the offense. How Gary Payton doesn't get enough credit in the '06 championship run. He hit two of the biggest baskets.
That biggest shot, yeah, that shot,
Yeah, dude. Game
that
5, I think,
saved.
is the one you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and he hit another one, and I think it was game 2. I think it was. It was
Hmm.
enormous, and so he doesn't get enough credit, in
Right.
that championship. I like where Shaq gave him a little love because he forgot to mention him when he started talking about, because Shaq, some idiot went after Shaq like, well, you couldn't win without Kobe, and it's like, you moron. Nobody wins by themselves. Everybody has other stars
Of
with them,
course.
as which is true. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like the thing that Tua has to go through. They want the quarterback that's going to carry the whole team. Last time I checked, that doesn't exist. There's never been a quarterback that's carried a whole team to a Super Bowl. No, that quarterback
Right.
usually had a defense and a running game and really good receivers, a hell of a coaching staff. He didn't do it by himself. You know what I mean? To think.
Sure.
And so Shaq was giving credit to a lot of people that helped him along the way, and he forgot to mention Peyton.
Gary Payton.
Peyton was on with him the other night, and typical Peyton, he was wearing his own Gary Payton T-shirt, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Right, which is the GP way. And then he was talking about his son and all that, which, by the way, you got to admire the hell out of his son.
Oh, his son has been. He's a heat guy if you've ever seen one too. Like the way he plays defense and just his story, where he came from. I mean, would he spend 5 years, I think, in the G League or something like that?
Yeah, dude.
And usually, you spend 5 years in the G League, you don't.
Right.
You're not playing in the NBA. You're definitely not going to be a rotation player in the finals.
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah, and like he's been like on 8 teams or something. I love people that are fight adversity. It's
For sure.
It's such a cool thing, and it's nice to see Shaq gave Gary a little love there, because Gary helped out in that championship, man.
Definitely.
All those old guys contributed one way or another, but Gary hit some of the big ass baskets. It wasn't, obviously Wade was the man, but Gary definitely helped out. One more thing before I let you go. What did you read into the, most people say it's nothing. We had Jordan Schultz on yesterday, and he goes to Brickley's practices and stuff like that. And he says there's nothing to it. They've been working out together for years and all that stuff. Ira doesn't think there's much to it. I say, lock it down, Jimmy Butler. Lock it down. Didn't he have a hat that a better world is coming?
A better world is coming, yeah.
Yeah, a better world is coming in Miami, because it ain't in Utah, bro. Malone didn't get it done. You're not getting it done, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't read too much into it other than the fact that it's good that they're friendly, right? It's better than like them not liking each other.
And then the Bam photo too with him.
Yeah, and Bam and Donovan have been close for a while. They were in the same draft class. So I mean that's good. I mean, it's better than the alternative, right? But I wouldn't read too much into the photo. It was their trainer's birthday. They've known each other. They have a relationship. But I mean, again, you can't say it's a bad thing that they're close and they're friends.
So you're telling me we shouldn't be pissed off at Jimmy if he doesn't land the whale?
Yeah, I think Jimmy. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if Jimmy's that guy to be a recruiter, right? I'm not sure if he is that guy. I don't know. I mean, I think he'll, like, if you ask him for advice, he might point you in one direction. But I don't think he's a guy, like someone that's to go out of his way to recruit a player to the. I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't know if I see that.
How about this? The dynamic maybe it hasn't changed. It was maybe that we didn't have all the information, or maybe the human being changed too. Who knows? But Jimmy came in with the reputation that he doesn't fit anywhere. He can't get along, all this stuff. And maybe also Jimmy to himself said, hey, I got to make sure I make this work, because I gotta make it look good that I have not been the problem. So maybe there's a little bit of that. Who knows? But whether you thought people couldn't get along with him or not or whatever. He has fit perfectly here. And by doing that, he has now sent a message out that I think any superstar now will play with him because he is a selfless star.
Mhm.
So he's not that, if you go play with Russell Westbrook, you got to be concerned. If you go play with James Harden, you got to be concerned because these are
different.
people, they want the ball and they're going to dominate the ball. But a LeBron, a Butler, certain guys are more than willing to include other people in the offense. And I think that's been a great selling point for Jimmy the last couple of years.
And it's not just Jimmy; it's Bam too. I know Jimmy's the superstar, but Bam has a lot of. Bam is well regarded in the NBA amongst our players because he's easy to play with.
That's his game. That's his game. Unfortunately, he's not known as a scorer. He's not known as a ball dominator. He's not known as a top tier franchise player. So you don't have to worry about him. You love that he's a facilitator.
He'll screen for you. He'll take the toughest assignment on defense.
Right.
It's two. I mean, but it is two guys that guys would like to play with, and I think winning obviously helps, right? Jimmy has made the final. I guess not made the finals, but gone close to making the finals 2 of the last 3 years. Made it one of his 3 years in Miami. So that helps. And yeah, Jimmy is selfless. Like, is he the easiest person to deal with? No. I mean, I think that's obvious. He's very intense. He's very competitive. He's very honest to a fault, which I think that he like. And it does take some getting used to, probably playing with him and being his teammate. But what you can't argue what he does in the court. And I think the results over the last 3 years have really helped kind of send that message, like you're saying.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. What are you working on the Miami Herald so folks can check you out, my friend?
I'll have something up today on Omer Yurtseven, just kind of what the next step is for him. Surprisingly, I think the expectation is he won't play in Summer League this year because he has some national team commitments, the Turkish national team this year. He's going to be in Vegas, but the plan is that he probably will not play in games. But it is an important offseason for him just to get better. And he could be in the rotation next year if they don't re-sign Dwayne Dedmon. I mean, Omer could be the backup center next season. So I spoke with him and check that out, MiamiHerald.com.
Is that something that the Heat is happy about?
I mean, it's something Gabe Vincent, too, the same thing. Gabe Vincent last year obviously was playing for the Nigerian national team. He was in Vegas. He practiced with the team. He was working with coaches, but he did not play in Summer League games. I think as long as he's around, Heat coaches can get workouts in with them, can practice with the Summer League team. I don't have the Heat to worry about him getting into games, per se, right? He's going to get some game action with the national team. So I think as long as he's around in Vegas, I think they're good with that.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang and catch him twice a week here with our Liquor Split Miami Heat and NBA report. Enjoy the basketball, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks, all. Have a good weekend.
You got it. And don't forget, Liquor Split is Miami's own liquor store. Download it right there on your app, iOS or Android. We don't want you drinking and driving, all right? So, you're in the middle of that meeting and you run out of that whiskey, grab that app, tap that app. We all love to tap that app. And you tap that app at Liquor Split and you can order a bottle of whiskey, and within minutes, it's back and the meeting is rolling. The party is rolling. The last thing we want you to do is you're already drinking. Don't get behind the wheel. And by the way, it's a $2.99 flat fee. It's probably worth your time and gas anyway. And no hidden fees. $1 of that goes to helping homelessness in Miami. So it's also going for a great cause. Download Miami's own liquor store online, liquorsplit.com. Tap that app, iOS or Android. That's your Liquor Split Miami Heat report.
You're now tapped into the latest with the Miami Heat. This has been the Miami Heat Liquor Split Report with insider Anthony Chang. Download the Liquor Split app and enjoy your favorite drinks at wholesale prices. Delivered right to your door in minutes with a flat fee of $2.99. VIP lifestyle without the VIP prices. Tap that app with Liquor Split.
what it's all about, baby. Tap that app. Yeah. Don't forget, you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. That's 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. And, of course, if you want to reach out to Welt and Rayom like I have, okay, not only a sponsor, but also I'm a client, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. WRFLAlaw.com is the website. You can call them, by the way. Tell them that Big O sent you. 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. They do a phenomenal job. So check them out. All right. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. All right, what else do we have to talk about? Avalanche last night took a 1-0 lead, overtime win against the Lightning, 4-3. Braden Point ended up playing too, in that he had an assist and everything in that game. So they ended up getting Point back and still ended up losing in that game. We ended up obviously winning because we took a goal and a half in that one. And it's a little risky with the empty netters and all that. But once it went into overtime, I was like, yeah, baby, we are in. And they came back from that 3-1 deficit, which, it got a little nervous there, right? When it was 3-1, you're like, holy moly. And then Vasilevsky, was strong down the stretch. And unfortunately, in overtime, that's when the one thing I will say is we didn't have to wait till like the 18th minute of overtime. They scored pretty early in the overtime to kind of end it. So that way the night didn't last a little longer. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of want to avoid going to sleep so damn late at times. Did you see the new All-Star logo? I don't know if you can pull it up. See if you can pull it up there, Sean. I thought that was yesterday they also unveiled the new All-Star logo for 2023. The All-Star game will be here in Sunrise at the Florida FLA Live Arena. So that's actually a cool thing. They did a nice job with the logo. It's very South Florida-ish, right? It had the nice bright colors to it, and it fit what South Florida is all about. So you had a bright and sunny and shiny puck, a very South Florida-like puck overall. So that's pretty cool that we get that event here. And the one thing that needs to be paired with that, obviously that'll be way before this, but you're already going to go at least into next season with some kind of a buzz, because it was kind of an unknown on how good you were, and you were pretty damn good this year. Unfortunately, you could not live up to it in the playoffs, and that's the next step for this franchise. So at least next year, you're going to go in with some buzz that, hey, you are a damn good team. And if you can make the right moves, especially if they can add a star to this team next year, then you go in with some real buzz all of a sudden, because you added that legit star that you need to kind of take over the team in a way on the offensive side. Because as good as Barkov is, he's not that guy. And Huberdeau is definitely not that guy, and he had a hell of a season. There's the logo. But you may have to trade Huberdeau to go get that guy. But you've got to find a way. If you're Viola and Sifu, you got to sit down with your GM and you got to say, okay, what players do we have to move? What salaries do we have to get rid of so we can go add this guy or that guy? And that's what I'm hoping, because in a year where you have the All-Star game, it would be so cool to also have one hell of a deep run in the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, here's your window. This is your window. You got to take advantage. You got Barkov in his prime, right? So go get that other star next to Barkov. And let me tell you something. Getting that star may also force Barkov to become that guy also. Remember, Barry Bonds was a great player. He was a Hall of Famer from the get-go. If you watch Barry Bonds, if you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. Skinny Barry Bonds. 5-tool, everything. Was he the power hitter that you saw after he juiced? No. He was a 20, 25, 30 home run guy on his best year, that kind of guy. Then all of a sudden he juiced up because he saw everybody else getting the attention. Chicks dig the long ball, this, that. Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, everybody hitting home runs. I want in. And he went and juiced up, and Greg Anderson and the boys allegedly got him there, and the rest is history, right? And that's because he wanted to be a part of it. Well, maybe if you add a star that is hungry to win on a consistent basis, and so hungry that when he sees, what Jimmy Butler does with the Heat, oh, you guys aren't scoring, okay, I got to take over. That's what you want. And maybe that rubs off on Barkov. Because they're not going to trade Barkov, which would be stupid. They're going to trade Huberdeau if you can go get that star, and you got to pay Huberdeau in a year. You need to use that money on that star, not on Huberdeau. Because you've seen enough from Barkov and Huberdeau that they're never going to be, that guy. They're going to be really, really good players, but they're not going to be that guy. And that's what you've got to go find. Tampa, they've got two of them. They don't have not one of those kind of guys. Go acquire that guy. He might end up making Barkov a little bit more edgy. And that might be really important for this team because Barkov's the guy that can set everybody else up. You need Barkov to get pissed off and say, no, I need to score myself right now. I know I can count on myself over everybody else. Let me make it. Let me get it done. And they got to go out and acquire that guy. So really cool logo. With the logo, with the season, that would be absolutely phenomenal. It would build incredible momentum for this Panther team. What you don't want is your legacy of Barkov and Huberdeau coming up short. That's not the legacy you want. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they get it done. Nice job by the league. I like the logo. All right, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, that's 855-912-1056. Don't forget, Sloman's is a proud sponsor of our program, 1-800-ALARM-ME. The first 40 Big O listeners right now will get you a free doorbell camera. It connects directly to your smartphone using our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring. We're going to hook you up. You'll get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. You are going to feel safe, folks. Sloman's, all right? Follow them on Twitter at Sloman's. Go to Sloman's on the web at slomans.com. And, of course, call them at 1-800-ALARM-ME and tell them that Big O sent you, and you will get a free doorbell camera so you can keep track of anything and everything around your home. Anthony says, Big O got hit with COVID. Going to watch Game 6 in the backyard and have some Flanagans. I need some Edge energy drink to wash down my chicken stickers and ribs and bonsai brownie. Well, you go to myedgedrink.com, baby. Use that code Big O. Get 10% off. And wash it down with Edge. Yeah. Wait till you see the new look of Edge that's coming. I don't know if I'm even supposed to say it, but it's, gotta tell you. Not the drink, the packaging. They changed it up. And it looks really nice. It's going to be out very soon. Daniel says, been out for a few weeks. Hope your buddy bought Bitcoin once it got down. Yeah, I haven't stopped buying Bitcoin as it's gone all the way down, man. And I'm not gonna stop buying it. I'm gonna keep buying it and keep loading up, baby. I'm surprised they never did an All-Star weekend. LOL. I remember it was at the old arena. Yeah, and apparently it's the boat show that gets in the way. That's the thing with ours is the boat show getting in the way. Yep. I got a. I'm in one of the basketball cards from All Star Weekend, from Tops, I think it is. If you find, it's the gold rimmed cards, and it's the card that has Barkley blocking David Robinson's shot. And I'm not sure if it's a David Robinson card or a Charles Barkley. I think it's a David Robinson card. I think it is. Something like that. 1989, right? Something like that. Put 1989 Tops David Robinson card or Charles Barkley. And you know what? Put Miami All-Star game. Maybe that'll also help out. And if it comes out, tell me if it comes out. If they're both jumping up in the air. It's an impressive shot, by the way, because David Robinson's 7'1". Barkley's like 6'5". And if you look at Barkley jumping up in the air, his hand is right there where David Robinson is. So it shows you, I mean, Barkley was a freak of an athlete, dude. You know, a total freak of an athlete. It's a gold rim card, and David Robinson is jumping up in the air in the key, and Barkley's trying to block it. Well, that's a gold rim card right there. Can you pull that up on the screen? Let me see something there a second, just to show you. That's me. That's the wife. That's my rookie card, by the way. So we'll show you my rookie card now. Damn, Sean is good. He found the damn card. We'll show you my rookie card. It's a collector's item. It's not about David Robinson or Charles Barkley. That's crap. Break. I'm in the card with the wife. I'm in my jersey. I don't know. I think I was wearing. I want to say I was wearing either my Cycli or Glenn Rice jersey. One of the two. It was perfect seats too, man. Perfect seats because it was elevated, so I was able to. You know, it was the only time I've ever seen myself in a card. My buddy found it because we were like, I had the cards, right? And so he's like, "Dude, didn't you go to this game?" I go, "Yeah, I was at the game." And I was at Lower Bowl, and he started looking. He goes, "Here you are." And I'm like, "What?" So sure enough, I don't know how you're going to be able to focus on that unless you can like, I don't know if you can like, bring it up and go close, but we'll try to bring it up for you. By the way, Phillies beat the Marlins yesterday 3-1. Miami's 5 games under 500. Daniel Castano, by the way, nice job by him. 6 2/3, no earned runs, but the back end of the bullpen. I mean, Bass and Tanner were, whatever. What are you going to do? The Marlins are a frustration, right? Because there's some talent there. They're not bad, but they don't have enough, and they don't have enough. And you knew they didn't have enough from the get-go. I'm never going to judge Kim Eng here because they don't give her a real checkbook. Garcia, I know he hit a home run not yesterday, the day before yesterday, but he's been a disappointment. I just, I'm glad they paid Sandy. I mean, God, are you going to ever prove that you're committed? Of course, you better start paying your own. But, you got him cheap right now. It's that next contract where you're going to have to really take care of Sandy, and we'll see. But that's the part about that whole situation with the Marlins. It is just absolutely frustrating. They're off today, and then tomorrow they go to Citi Field to start a set with the Mets. I watch them. I support them. I just don't know if they have enough, man. And it's hard to succeed in this town if you cannot win and entertain on a consistent basis. And that's just something that they don't do. They cannot win on a consistent basis. And I'm not asking for a World Series, but I am asking that you need to be going to the playoffs every couple years. You know what I mean? You need to be challenging for a playoff on a consistent basis. And that's something that they just never do. And that's the sad part of it. And when I'm watching last night, it's like, I had it on the side because I was watching the hockey game. But just tough, man. Tough that these guys. Well, actually, that was an early game. So yeah, I was actually watching the recorded one. Actually, that's what I was doing last night. So yeah, just a tough one, man. Sucks. Let's see. Card just gained $100 plus in value now, Big O. There we go. There we go. I don't know. You're not gonna be able to. You know what can I give you an idea? On your phone, you screenshot it, and then you email it to yourself, and then you'll be able to bring it up and control it better than off of that. Is probably the way you're going to have to do it. Is the only way you're going to be able to do it. So, just an ideas. And then you can, I don't know if you can actually enlarge the part where I'm sitting and then screenshot again. So we can show the card and then the close-up. But I don't know if the close-up will take me out of focus, which then will make me look good, by the way, if I'm out of focus. Best sports moment you've witnessed live. I'm probably gonna have to go Game 6, Dallas, Heat, Mavs, Wade and the boys close it out. Edging, Craig Counsell crossing the plate in the 11th inning. Marlins and Indians at the stadium. I was there for both. Watching the Dolphins shut down Walter Payton to 44 yards as a kid back in the Orange Bowl was amazing. Payton's my favorite player of all time. But as a Dolphin fan, obviously I wanted him shut down, and they did. In fact, Payton played quarterback that day. They knocked out the other two quarterbacks. It was so fun being a Dolphin fan back in the day. You youngins have no idea, baby. No idea. Look, chest thumping walking into that Orange Bowl. You knew you were kicking their ass that day. They took out both quarterbacks, and Walter Payton had 44 yards and had to play quarterback by the end of the game. That was fun. Trying to think of some other moments. Really enjoyed the Stanley Cup run for the Panthers back in the 96 year. That Stanley Cup was fun to watch, fun to cover, but the moment you have to go with Game 6 in Dallas as the Heat seal up the championship, or Game 7 against the Indians. Probably those are the top two, I would say, because they're championships. I can come up with something else that's not championship, the hook and ladder play and all that. I was there, whatever, that kind of stuff. But no, I would probably go with that. Probably go with those two championships, Dallas Heat, and then Game 7 against Cleveland. Those were pretty freaking awesome. And they were both the first championships for the Heat and for the Marlins too. So that was actually cool. Let's see. And Jonathan is right. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Okay. All right. Is it ready? Or do we go to the next hour? You tell me. He is loading it up. Oh, he's got it going. He's got it going. Look out. By the way, Perdomo Cigars, have you been to their retail store at 5150 Northwest 167th Street in Miami Gardens? What the hell are you waiting for? Every Perdomo cigar is there. They got a ginormous humidor. ginormous leather couch so you can sit back, relax. They got a big TV. Nick Perdomo is there all the time. You never know, you might meet the legend that is Nick Perdomo. Take a picture with him. Really great dude. By the way, if you can see his office, check out his office. He's got this killer drum set because he plays the drums. And so it's kind of like it's kind of a studio office because it's his office, and then they close it out, and then it becomes a jam session studio with equipment and everything and all that. So it's actually really cool and great. Dolphin Canes paraphernalia all over the room too. You got to check it out, man. So if you haven't been there, and by the way, if you need a job, they're hiring at Perdomo Cigars. This is the weirdest like recession that we're headed into. It's so weird. We got all these problems. A lot of them are out of our control with the supply chain stuff, and the war has, obviously we can't control any of that crap. But what's it called? The gas price, we can control a little bit of that. That's where Biden's screwing up. But anyway, wow, you got it. So there's jobs available, folks. And Perdomo's also hiring. Not only Sports Grill is hiring, there's a lot of places hiring. But Perdomo's hiring all kinds of positions in the warehouse. So if you are looking for a job, there you go. All right. So you see on the top left corner of what you're watching there, you see the dude with the white hat. Okay, I don't know if you can put your cursor there, Sean. That is me wearing some kind of a Heat hat probably there. That's me. And I have my Heat jersey on, as you can tell. And then right to my your right, my left, that's my wife. You just can't see her face because obviously it's, but that is me. Yeah, you can tell you can kind of tell it's me, right? Even blurry like that. But that is me right there. There you go. And if you want to look, do you have the card overall so that you can show them the card? Oh, this is the card. Wow. You are amazing, bro. I thought you you focused in and then took a screenshot of it. So I want to show you the card because it's actually a pretty cool shot. And there's a great story to it too. So my wife is sitting there, right? And there were seats down like in the fourth row of that same section. And I go to my wife, hey, let's go down there. Let's go sit in those seats until they kick us out. So we go down, and it's like the fourth row, aisle seats and everything. I'm on the aisle. My wife is sitting next to me. I get a tap on my shoulder, and I look up, and I had to look like way up. It was Mark Eaton from Utah, the center. So obviously he needs that aisle seat. And I have my own aisle seat, I think it was, right? Was it an aisle seat or right close, right off of the aisle? And so he goes, excuse me, these are my seats. I'm like, yes, sir. Me and the wife went back upstairs and we sat on our seats there. And we had great seats in the lower bowl, but I said, let me be a complete pig. Maybe these people never show up and I sit in the fourth row for the entire, All-Star game. What the hell? But if you can, if you could bring up that card completely there, it's actually a really cool shot. And it shows Barkley's athleticism, how freakish of a player he was in his day. And here's the other thing about Barkley. It wasn't like he was 6'5" and fit, right? We're not talking like 6'5" and all cut up. No, he was 6'5" and he was the round mound of rebound is what he was, in those days. That's who he was. April 27th, 1996, Bill Lindsay's goal against Boston. Oh, yeah, against Ray Bork. He got past number 77, Ray Bork, and then scored the goal. There's the card. Look at Barkley, dude. See if you can bring up the card a little bit more so you can see it. But look at that, dude. Look at where Barkley's hand is and David Robinson. Is that impressive or what? Huh? That's awesome. It's a great shot. Great shot. Look at that. Look at that. Nice job, Sean. Look at that, man. That is, and you can tell Barkley had long arms too, see? Because look where his head is at. Look where David Robinson's head is at. Man, it's impressive. You gotta give Barkley lots of props, man. He was a freak of an athlete. Total freak. Perdomo Cigars has a really good YouTube channel. Nick Perdomo is in many of the videos. Good info, enjoying cigars. Yes. He gets a lot of hits on that YouTube channel, man. He's a worldwide star, man. GNS Lifting, morning Big O. 79 today, late start, but I'm here from Ocala. Thank you. Maybe we'll be in Ocala soon. Karen says, Charles Barkley is my favorite TV personality. NBA on TNT is great. They're more entertaining than some of the games these days. Wish they hosted the NBA Finals. I'm sure a lot of people wish that those guys were doing the NBA Finals. John says, in your time being inside the Dolphin locker room, who were some of the nicer guys and who were the really bad guys? We'll give you that answer when hour number 2 of the program begins from Hialeah Park next.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Red Recover can maximize your efforts by potentially improving cellular metabolism, blood circulation, and muscle recovery. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery. Red Recover.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths. In South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill, good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to FLPDjobs.com.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Number 2 from beautiful Hialeah Park. We're in the second floor poker room. Come on out and join us. And come enjoy the great atmosphere, by the way, the great food. As always, love the food, love the entertainment. Got all the gaming machines downstairs. Got this beautiful, comfortable second floor poker room with all the captain's chairs. The lovely ladies will come serve you drinks and food. So it's all kinds of stuff, man. So come on out here to Hialeah Park. All the TVs are there. So if anything is going on or breaking, or you can also wager on some of the tracks around the country, which is really, really cool. All right, let's see. So you were asking me who were some of the really cool guys that I covered, and some of the jerks back in the day with the Dolphins. Okay, so remember, I'm going to speak on my experiences. Sometimes I got along with people that others didn't. Bobby Bonilla was not a popular figure for Marlins media members. I can't ever say anything bad about Bobby. He was awesome with me. Gary Sheffield did not really associate with a lot of people. Gary was super cool with me. You know, Gary was very reserved and very protective. And I think it was because a lot of the stuff that happened to him early on in his career. But by the time he got to the Marlins, he was very protective. But I was able to get along with him. So, I know that some people have not had great experiences at times with Jason Taylor. I can't say that. For me, JT has been one of the cooler guys with me. Zach was just golden. Tim Bowens, David Bowens. These guys were just absolute gems. Tim Ruddy. One of the best human beings you'll be able to talk to on a daily basis. Just a really good dude overall. Once you got him away from the boring sound bites, because he's a Notre Dame guy, he was really smart. And he was really smart. He got the whole thing right from the get-go. And once you turned on the camera or the mic, Ruddy did not give you anything whatsoever. But then on Fridays, we would get Ruddy, and it was a Tim Ruddy free media Friday, in other words. And we would, like, it was like 3, 4, 5 of us, and we'd gather around and BS with him. No pads were out, no mics were out, nothing. There were no cameramen ever in that. On Friday, very rare you had a camera guy there. Maybe Lou or Pete from Channel 7, but very few people would actually go out on the electronic side on a Friday. It was usually just me, actually, on the electronic side and the writers. But I remember that Ruddy was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, there were a lot of good guys. The jerks, Brock Marion was one of the biggest jerks I've ever dealt with in my life. He's just a total jackass. Lawrence Phillips was a bad dude, but that was, that came with the territory and everything. And, and I don't care that he's dead. What else? Who did I? A lot of guys that were jerks, at least to me, in the Dolphin locker room. Tim Bowens, by the way, was really cool. Very reserved with most. I was able to, talk to him. He was cool. By the way, Channing Crowder was good in the locker room. He was really good. He was always good to me. And by the way, congratulations to Channing. Because I know with hockey, he does the goofy show, and they do a great job with the goofiness, right? I don't consider it a sports show, and I don't listen to it at all for sports. But on the Pivot, right? It's called the Pivot Podcast. What he does, man, he goes all out there. I like that Channing Crowder. That Channing Crowder. This one here, he just has fun because obviously he has to follow Hawk's lead, and it is what it is. That's what that show is. But on the Pivot, like, he's one of the guys that, that's where I'm a little bit more critical of I Am Athlete. There isn't enough people challenging their guests. Whereas in the Pivot, I give Channing Crowder credit. He goes after it, man. He goes after it. With Cam, with Shaq, all that stuff that I've seen. And I can watch that. I can watch that if it's not going to be a fluff job the entire time, and you're just not going to, it's just going to be a love fest the entire. And listen, some people just deserve a love fest. But if you're going to bring on a figure that has controversial issues and you avoid them, that's not good for me. That kind of takes the wind out of my sails a little bit. Whereas on the Pivot, I got to give Channing a lot of credit, dude. He goes after it. Okay, that's really cool. I like that. Very enjoyable. Let's see, what else do we have here? Pat in Nashville says, very cool. Oh, I have a similar looking pic from a U2 concert. See that blur? It's me. What else do we have? Who are you looking forward to seeing the most in pads going to be fast? Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the team, period. As not anybody specific, because I want team success. I want McDaniel to succeed. I want Tua to succeed. I want Tyreek to succeed. I want Jalen Phillips to succeed. I want Javon Holland to succeed. You know what I mean? I want Channing Tindall to succeed. To me, it's just about team success. It's like yesterday or the day before. Was it Jordan Schultz? Which one was it that was asking me to give up? Like, okay, you want the Heat, but the Dolphins can't win. I'm like, no, I can't do that. It was Jordan, right? No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to suffer anymore as a Dolphins fan. I haven't ever suffered as a Heat fan in a quarter century. When have we suffered as Heat fans? We might have had like a down year, but that's not suffering. Nothing about the Heat is suffering. Everything about the Heat is golden, bro. Everything. It's 25 years of just awesomeness. You know what I mean? But not the Dolphins. It's too much pain, man. Too much. I gotta have this team succeed, man. I need it. I need it badly. It's just that I feel for my Dolphin Nation, man. So yeah, I need the team to succeed. It's not about an individual. I've watched the Ricky Williams seasons. I've watched the Dan Marino seasons. I've watched the Jason Taylor seasons. I've watched the Zach Thomas seasons. I don't care about individual seasons anymore. They're nice, they're entertaining, and all that bull crap. And watching Lamar Smith rush for 1,200 yards, and Dave Wannstedt gets on his back in the playoff picture there in the locker room, and it's all fun. Okay, the dreadlock demon was fun. I loved watching Ricky Williams run wild. What did it get me? I love watching Jason Taylor harass and sack and intercept and deflect and force fumbles. And what did he get me? I've watched Zach Thomas play his ass off, 150 tackles a year and interceptions and pass deflections. And what did he get me? I watched Marino throw 48 touchdowns and 5,000 yards and touchdown after touchdown to the Marx brothers. What did he get me? See what I'm saying? Not about individuals anymore. I haven't been about individuals for a long time. That's nice. That's the icing on the winning cake. I need a winning cake. Okay? I don't want to leave my cake out in the rain. Okay? No, that's gonna, as Donna Summer says, that's not gonna work out. Okay? So, no. I need team success. That's what I need. I've seen the 11-5 season. I've seen the 10-6 season. I've seen the show up in the playoffs and get your ass kicked. No. I want team success. The individual stuff, we can talk about it on top of the team success. That's what I need. That's what you need. That's what the entire Dolphin Nation and this entire world needs. And they deserve it, more importantly. I saw Bob Greasy get his ankle broken. Just wasn't a great sports moment for me. Thank you, Earl Morrill. Let's see. Big O, how are you feeling with your sleep since fall? You had some issues. Actually, I've slept pretty well the last couple of days. I've actually slept pretty well. I've slept deeper the last couple of days. And I don't know if I'm not sure if it's the AG1. I'm not sure if it's because I'm really tired and I work a lot. I have no idea. But I'm thinking I've always worked, so that's really not the case. I've always grinded, so that's not the deal. But sleep-wise, I'm actually doing a little better. Serious question. Would you sacrifice the Heat for the Dolphins, meaning the Dolphins always win now and the Heat will always lose? Yeah, but that's not a fun hypothetical. I don't want that on anybody. Dude, I want the Panthers to win. They need to get over the hump and have constant playoff success and go get us a Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? I don't want any of my local teams to suffer. I want Inter Miami to figure it out. Jorge Mas is a good dude, man. He spent a lot of money, and I know he's made a boatload of mistakes early on, but they'll figure it out. I want them to win, man. And by the way, we get soccer back. Thank the Lord. God. Big O, would you say that the NBA dynasty of the 2000s and 2010 era would be these teams? Lakers, Spurs, Heat, and Warriors. They all went to the finals multiple times. The Heat are not a dynasty. They only won 2 championships. So they are not a dynasty. Did the Lakers win 3 in the early 2000s? They did, right? We'll give them a dynasty, and then the Spurs for sure. Yeah. Lakers and Spurs. And the Warriors, if they with winning tonight, or if they do, because that would be 4 championships for those guys for that era. So yes, they would definitely be a dynasty. But the Heat are not a dynasty. You only won 2 championships. The one in 06 is completely detached from the teams of 11 and 12. because those teams were completely different. The only thing that they had the same was UD and Wade. That's it. And UD obviously was not the player during that run that he was in 06. 06, he was very important to their run to a championship, and he slowed Dirk down in the championship series. So yeah, I'm with you there. Big O, do you transfer all your crypto to your wallet or always keep it in the exchange? I have some in my wallet, and I have quite a bit of it in exchanges, but I have them where I can stake them. So when they're staked, they're also in their cold storage. So that helps. If they're if it's stuff that's unstaked, I have it in my cold wallet. That's the way I do it. Okay? But if I can earn interest on it, I got to earn interest on it, man. You know, that's got to do that. All right, Alan Poupar is ready to go. Let's talk a little football with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins reports.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupard. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Alan Poupard.
Oh, how you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Yes, sir.
You're vacationing still, right?
No, back home. Back home.
There you go. You are back home. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. I got the delay one because usually I have the live screen to my right inside studio. So when you see me looking to the right, it seems like I'm not looking at you, but I'm actually looking at you because I'm looking at the live screen watching you here. The one I have in front of me now is delayed, obviously, because it's on YouTube. All right. You wrote about it. We heard it on Pat McAfee's show, and it was nice to hear Brian Urlacher, talk about it, because it's kind of twisted because we kind of slam Urlacher by saying, why isn't Zach in when Urlacher's in when they both deserve to be in? You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're trying to slam his career. You're just saying, well, he belongs. But it was nice to hear a player say, Zach has the same stats or better than some of us, and he's not in. And why the hell isn't he in? And then when Pat asked him, why isn't he in? Well, I don't know, maybe because he's 5'10". Mm-hmm. And so it was just nice to see, players, because Peyton Manning's acknowledged it in the past too, that he's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and the same with Brady did the same thing. Yep. No, and the thing and it's not so much that Urlacher is in and Zach isn't. The fact Urlacher was a first ballot, election. And now Zach's been eligible since 2014, and he's not in yet. And so that there's not that kind of discrepancy between the two. Even if you want to believe that Urlacher was better, Urlacher was a better athlete. I mean, Urlacher was a freak as an athlete.
That's why he's in.
Zach made up for it with this.
Dude, that's why he's in, because he's prototypical. And because that's how we think, that he's prototypical. And if somebody else is not prototypical, he's an overachiever. And so then we don't give him the same respect. And I'll give you what I'm going to lead you right into and light a little fire under your ass and everybody else. Same shit goes on with Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa. The short quarterback to the guy that is perfectly built like the quarterback that you would want. If you were going to design an ideal quarterback physically, it's Justin Herbert. The size, the arm, the athleticism, it's Justin Herbert. It ain't going to be Tua. Yet Tua's the one that's been the most successful quarterback out of the two guys, but yet he's not going to get the same love because they look at him
in college. Don't say he's been the most successful guy of the two in the NFL. He hasn't.
Yeah, he has.
He just flat out hasn't. And
he has a championship. He has a championship. The other guy doesn't.
You said that's correct. I said in college.
And neither guy's gone to the playoffs here. They all won 9 games. So
Are we really going to compare? First of all, okay, a couple of things, if I may. Okay. If you're going back to college, Tua was a better college quarterback than Herbert. There's no debating that. as far as in the NFL, if you're going to suggest that Tua has been anywhere near Justin Herbert level in the NFL, I think you're completely off the rails.
No, of course not. He doesn't have what Justin Herbert has, so it's hard for him to have that kind of success. He doesn't have the receiving core. He doesn't have the running game. Doesn't have a better line. Doesn't even have a better offensive staff.
All that stuff aside, if you can't see a difference between the two, I can't help you. Here's the thing.
That's my point. That there's the bias. There's the bias.
But here's the thing, Big O.
Urlacher runs like a deer and looks like a Adonis, and Zach Thomas looks like a midget linebacker that is an overachiever. And that's why they've shit on his career, and that's why they elevate the other guy to first ballot, because he's prototypical and Zach is not. So in our minds, we're already dissing the shorter guy, the shorter woman, the person that has less than the other, when they're just as good, but they are just different.
Okay, first of all, speak for the Hall of Fame voters, not for me, because I'd have put Zach immediately on a par with Brian Urlacher. I will also maintain that if you ask me the most dominant player on defense for the Dolphins, or the best player on defense for the Dolphins over the past 20 years, Jason Taylor's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and to me, it's Jason and Zach on the same level.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. I watched them like you did. I have no problem. I don't hold his shortness against him.
I don't either.
I don't hold Tua's shortness against him either. You know what I mean? That's
I don't either. But here's the thing: if you're more limited physically, you need more things both around you, and everything has to be more precise. Your margin for error decreases.
Right.
Justin Herbert's margin for error is a lot bigger than Tua's, because he's 6'6" and he's got a rocket for an arm.
Exactly.
So everything has to be very precise, and everything has to be great around him. And again, if you need everything around you to be elite, you're not elite. I've said that before. I'm going to say
so then Drew Brees wasn't elite.
You're going to throw me back to the one outlier in the past 20 years. Sure, there are outliers.
So Greasy wasn't elite. Greasy wasn't elite either then.
Bob Greasy was a perfect cerebral quarterback for a team that won because of its defense, because of its running game, and because of its quarterback, which probably was 7th in the list of reasons why they won. I mean, come on, are you serious with me right now?
I'm just saying you're saying Greasy wasn't elite either, right? I'm just saying, okay, that's fine. Okay. That's all.
Give me the top 3 NFL quarterbacks of the 1970s. I mean, top 5. Would you put Bob Greasy in there? You're going to have to think long enough. Okay. No. So Bob Greasy, I mean, come on. I mean, again, he was a perfect quarterback for that system because, again, he could use his very, very smart, and he understood Dolphins weren't winning because of his arm. The Dolphins were winning because of that sick offensive line, and because you had like 3 stud running backs behind them. So, and no, I don't buy. I don't want to like portray myself as being Mr. Objective and all that. I don't buy this BS. Like, I don't look at Zach Thomas's career in any lesser way. To me, it's actually more impressive what he did in our locker, because
it happens to, it's human nature. It happens to people. They look at the lesser talented person, and they don't give them the same credit as the person who is naturally gifted. It just happens that way. It happens in certain scenarios. And in this scenario with Zach, I think it happens, just like I think it happens to a certain level with Herbert and Tua. Same thing, because physically they're just so impressive. When you look at Urlacher and when you look at Herbert, they just are flat out impressive, physical specimens. You know what I'm saying? And the guy that isn't considered the physical specimen, but yet is a great player, is just looked at as the overachiever. Not a great player. It's a shame.
Yeah. No, I mean, I refuse to be lumped into that category. I look at production. Drew Brees was a great player. There's a difference between Drew Brees was not a great athlete because he was short, didn't have necessarily a great arm, then it wasn't particularly fast, but he was a great player. I look at production and purely.
Oh, why can't Tua do the same thing?
I never, and if you're going to recall and quote me correctly, I didn't say it's impossible for him to do it. I said I have my doubts, and he also hasn't done it yet.
Why? He was great in college. Why can't?
Ken Dorsey was great in college. Was he great in the NFL?
Yeah,
Rex Grossman was great in college. Was he great in the NFL?
Okay, but Herbert wasn't great in college.
Josh Heupel.
Herbert wasn't great in college.
He's got the tools. There are a lot of examples of players who became better NFL players than college. Because I've talked to people in Oregon, and to a man, they're like, what they did with the offense and what they were asking Justin Herbert to do, that's criminal negligence. That's how ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how it does look. That's how it does look. But then again, you go back to the Houston game where you had a shot to get to the playoffs and cut that lead to 1, and
it's one game. Come on, man.
Hey, man, that's your season, buddy. That's the easy game. I mean, dude, if you are Adonis, my brother, if you are God, if you are that good, you don't lose to the Texans. I'm just saying, doggy. I'm just saying.
It's a team game. Their entire team sucked that day. By the way, if I'm the Chargers. I'm calling you right now. I'll make you a trade straight up Herbert for Tua. Are you making a trade?
No, I'm staying with what I have right now. No, I'm fine with Tua. I think Tua's the better quarterback.
I'm sorry, my man, but get yourself checked out.
No, listen, I understand. I totally get it with all of you out there. He's the better talent. That doesn't mean he's the better quarterback.
Okay.
That has never meant to be the better quarterback.
I agree, but in this case, he's both.
No, see, but you're going out on the limb that he'll be the great quarterback. You've never seen it. You've only seen
last year. Look, what are you talking about? You're pointing out one bad game he had, and the entire team sucked.
Hey, dude, he won 9 games with that team. He won 9 games. If you're that great with that team, you should have been in the playoffs, dude.
Wrong. The defense sucked. Look at the games that the Chargers won and Herbert's role in those wins, and compare that to the Dolphins. The games the Dolphins won and Tua's roles in those. And if you're going to tell me you don't see a difference, again, I know you're a huge Tua fan. I get it.
I know our defense was absolutely shitty against all the good teams the first half of the season, and then they stuffed the stats in the second half of the season against all the shitty teams.
And how many games was able? By the way, that's what I saw. How many games was Tua able to pull out when the defense wasn't performing? Look at the 8 wins.
Right.
Look at the 9 wins they had on the season. Tell me a game where, tell me games where it was really Tua who was the difference in the game.
I don't know how many there were of those. Maybe 1 or 2, something like that. Not much.
There was one Jets game I remember. I think the first at Jets game actually. Maybe you give it to him.
Maybe 1 or 2. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have enough around him to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It's true. Does he have any Pro Bowl receivers? Does he have any?
He does now. We'll see. So we'll see.
No, that's now. I asked you last year. Did he have any Pro Bowl receivers?
Does not make players around him better, which is a mark of a great quarterback.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I know. And in LA, he made all those great receivers great, right? Because of course Keenan Allen needed him. Right. No. Mike Williams needed him, right? No, of course. Yeah. No. Those guys weren't accomplished already, but they needed him. Come on.
Okay. Here's the other question. Put Tua with the Chargers last year. Okay.
He's in the playoffs.
Okay.
He's in the playoffs. 10 games.
Bullshit. Put Herbert with the Dolphins last year, and I said they're in the playoffs.
That's right. You'll see he'll be in the playoffs this year because you gave him the coach and the talent. You'll see. See, that's the difference where I'm not – I don't argue with any of you out there that Herbert is the way better talent because he is, bro. He's perfect. He's built that way. I want to see here. I want to see key moments. Yeah. I want to see you win the games that you got to win and get them into the hump because I didn't see you do that in Oregon. And I haven't seen you yet here elevate a team to the playoffs. And I think you had a team that could have gone to the playoffs. The Dolphins weren't a team that was going to go to the playoffs. Not with that head coach, not with that offensive staff, and not with that offense.
How closely did you follow the Chargers last year, Big O?
I followed them a lot. I watched it a lot.
Yeah. I follow them a lot too. And if you think that was on Herbert, I don't know what to tell you. And if you watch that Vegas game at the end of the year where he made 6th throw after 6th throw, when the Chargers kept insisting on having Storm Norton, who, no offense, is a horrible offensive lineman, as bad as any of the Dolphins.
And their head coach also makes some questionable calls too, by the way.
That's even beside the point, though. They insisted on having Storm Norton blocked Max Crosby one-on-one when he was in his face, Justin Herbert's face the entire night, and he made sick throw after sick throw to put this team in position to win or pull out a tie, which they would have gotten if they could stop the Raiders from gaining 15 yards on 2 straight carries when the entire world knew they were running the ball. So, and
by the way, Jose Banos, who sends in a super chat, says Ravens game, Jets game, the Cardinals game from 2 years ago, and not to mention the Jags game that he put the team in position to win at the end, and the D failed him.
They lost against the Jags, and he had a pick, and against Baltimore, they had 10 points.
But he did give him. He's right. He did give him the lead, and then the defense screwed up.
Well, in what game? Sorry, they led when he came into the game against Baltimore, and then X got.
No. He's saying the Jags game that he did give him the lead, and then the defense gave it up. Yes, he's right about that.
He also threw a pick, and it wasn't. I'm not saying it was his fault they lost, but they didn't win the game. So that goes against your premise of like, if Herbert was so great, why didn't make the playoffs? Well, if Tua was so great in that game, why did they lose? You can't use that as a game. I asked you for games where he was the biggest difference in them winning.
I didn't say it. He said it, but he's right. Well, he's right that Tua did give him the lead late in that Jags game, and then the defense gave up the game. He is right about that. That's all I'm saying.
That's Atlanta against the Jacksonville. They tied the game. They weren't leading, and they went for it on fourth down, and they got stuffed.
That's
maybe
right.
Maybe they were leading, and the guy kicked a late field goal.
He did tie him. He did tie. That's right. You are correct. You are correct. What is it? Do we have here? What else? Draft Herbert as one of my favorite fantasy teams last year, and he helped me win $700. I think that decides it all right there. This guy won $700.
I mean, seriously.
So Herbert did produce something. Now I was wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. Herbert won $700 in fantasy for Eric Storm. So
way to go, Eric.
Eric, way to go. I was wrong. Screw the Chargers. Eric Storm won $700 in fantasy thanks to Justin Herbert. That's really the key there. All right, so what do we do? Just cross our fingers now and hope nobody gets arrested for 6 weeks?
Correct, and you hope the guys who are rehabbing continue to progress. We have Raheem Mostert yesterday on Twitter saying he's getting close, which is... Okay. Does that mean he's going to be ready for the start of training camp? When Mike McDaniel himself said the hope is he's ready for week 1.
I think he probably, you know why? He knew he would be ready for week 1, but he doesn't want to say, oh, he might be ready for camp. Oh, well, it's a week later. I think he kind of wanted to put it like the safe spot. You know what I'm saying? So that way he's not asked about it all. Oh, whoa, rehab went a little better than we expected, and he's back earlier, Because by the way, if it's week 1, then he starts on the PUP list because that means he didn't get practice time. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but then you're shelving him for 6 weeks. I don't know if that's something you want to do.
But that's what I'm saying. If he's not ready till week 1, then he's weeks away from actually getting him in a football shape. Is what I'm saying. That's all.
Correct, but the second he starts practicing, you can't go on PUP. So
right.
No, and the bigger question is there's a difference between being back at 100% and being the same guy he was, because obviously this guy makes his money with his speed, and he could be fine physically where there's no pain, but is he going to have the explosion back? That's the key with him, and then Armstead's the other one too, because I remember asking Armstead during one of the OTA's media availabilities. So you're saying you'll be ready for the start of training camp, and his answer was basically, when I get in there, it'll be full speed ahead, which is not the same as saying, yes, I'll be ready for the start of training camp. So that's something to keep an eye on because obviously, especially with Armstead, that's a major important piece right there.
Are you expecting an indefinite suspension with Deshaun Watson? Because I am. I think there's
indefinite. Oh, that's interesting.
Indefinite. Because I think the league is going to get to a point where they're going to say, yeah, you need to settle all of this crap before we put, because it's now going up to 26 and we don't know when it's going to end. And so it's like, this is going to take forever. If you're the league, you're better off. Like, I don't even know how they gave him access a couple days ago to talk to them. That's stupid on their part, but you gotta, if you're the league, you need to separate church and state here and get everybody out of this whole mess. That way the Browns can say, well, listen, we're going to talk about the players that are here and you can just move on until he comes back. I think an indefinite suspension is what this league needs to do. I think they'll come to their senses. But what do you think?
Yeah, except the only problem with that, though, is, and say what you want about the Browns and their decision to bring the guy in, but if I'm the Browns, I mean, I bitch to high heaven if you're going to suspend him indefinitely now because there are unsettled civil lawsuits, which was the case all of 2021, and the NFL did nothing with him. So I kind of be thinking in terms of like fairness for the Browns. I don't buy the idea that they're gonna hold off on making a decision because of pending civil lawsuits. I think they're gonna go ahead and lay down the hammer, one way or another. It may be that the suspension becomes longer than it would have been because the numbers keep adding up. But I have a hard time, again, just making it indefinite suspension, because then Cleveland is okay. So how does Cleveland plan for the quarterback position? Then you can say, well, that's their own problem for having dived into that situation. But again, the situation as far as Watson is concerned isn't necessarily much different than it was last year, other than there are more lawsuits that have been tacked on.
Have you heard anybody from the building tell you, like, thank the Lord we didn't get into this mess? Huh?
No, I
didn't, like, off the record say, like, man, thank the Lord we didn't get into it, because, man,
that's not come up.
Like, dude, your life would be hell. Like, it would be boring. It would be terrible. It's like people don't realize it. Like, I remember when I was on the beat, and you were on the beat too, because you've been on this beat longer than most. I had to cover the Tony Martin money laundering case. That wasn't any fun, dude. Being 3 days hanging out outside the courtroom there in downtown, and that was back then when actually QAM was like a real sports station. They actually, paid people to be reporters and stuff. And I had to sit out there, dude, and people were like, oh, isn't that cool? I'm like, no, dude, this is no fun, bro. I want to talk about football, whether a guy is good or not, a trade, a cut. This guy starts, that guy is moving, this guy's upgrade. Well, that's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about all this other crap. And that's the part that people don't understand. That part is not fun. That sucks.
No, Bullygate was not fun either. I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not fun. I mean, it's like I'd much rather, even though we've gone in circles and over and over and over and over again. It's like I'd rather debate the merits of Tua / Herbert than talk about Deshaun Watson and his situation.
Hell yeah! No matter how much you're wrong, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch his work here twice a week, giving you all the insight, baby, on the Miami Dolphins with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. Alan, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next week.
We'll talk next week, and hopefully you will have come to your senses by then.
Never. You will by the end of this coming season. 30-plus touchdowns, playoff trip, and Herbert's going to be outside looking in, eating his popcorn. I'm going to say, see, I told you so.
No, you wouldn't do that. That's not like you. That's really not your style. That's not your style to go, I told you so. It's really not.
Me, I would never do that. The golden child is going to come through, baby.
We'll find out.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Be good. There you go. Alan Poupart with the best hat in town, Montreal Expos.
This has been the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupart, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and never miss the report. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Visit Sports Grill in our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza.
Alrighty. Thank you all out there. I am, by the way, I'm downloading the Bally Sports app. Are they already accepting for Marlins and stuff like that? The subscription for the Marlins? The Bally Sports app, because supposedly it was going to be available here so you can catch. Huh? No, but like, do you pay for that service? No. No, that's what I'm saying. Outside of Xfinity, on its own, like you're gonna be able to get it on your own, straight up. So they have it because I know it's coming, like Bally for just Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got it through the Xfinity app, the
Right.
Bally
That's
Sports, and then
right.
I
That's what I'm looking
hook up
at
with
here.
the cable company. So
Right, that's what I'm looking at here. That it has all the companies, but I know that I was wondering if they had done it yet, where you can purchase it straight up, and you don't have to use a TV service.
oh yeah, no, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because I think that's what's next. Like for the people that have YouTube, since it's not part of YouTube and stuff like that, supposedly they were going to have the service on the side, and then you can just buy it for, whatever, 10, 12, 20 bucks a month, whatever the hell it's going to be. Joel Burr, big difference with Kraft. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Okay. Big O, fans of mediocre teams feast on individual success as they have nothing else to go on, and we've been on the mediocre side for the last 40 to 50 years. I need team greatness and success. Exactly, man. Exactly. I need to see the team get it done. So we'll see. Herbert has had a better start to his career than Josh Allen. Let's see if he takes the next jump like Josh did. Exactly. That's the key. That's the key. I want to see the kid win in key moments and get to the playoffs and do some stuff. Then I will believe he is the complete package, because physically he's got it all, bro. He's got it all. All. It's the perfect quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind. But I've seen those kind of guys before in the past, that they're perfectly designed, but then, when the thing gets pushed to the max, the brain goes haywire. So I need to see that the brain isn't going haywire. And then that's when they pass the test. As I tell you all the time with Ryan, right? When things when chaos steps in, his brain goes scatterbrain, and that's his problem. And he panics. And that happens with a lot of guys. Jeff George could put up all kinds of numbers, and he had a great arm, dude. And then when push came to shove and key moments came, Jeff George folded like a cheap tent. And to me, I've seen a lot of these guys that have the skill set, but then when push comes to shove, they don't perform at that highest level that you expect. And you're like, man, this guy's got all the gifts, and yet he doesn't get it done. And that to me is kind of the threshold I need to see the kid before I believe it. I mean, what do you want me to do? Big O, what are your thoughts on the effects of fantasy football and player evaluations? That happens more for fans. Fantasy football has ruined the perspective for some average football fans. The regular football fan that doesn't play fantasy football, he or she has not been polluted with that. But there is a certain section of football fans that have lost perspective of the game because they're thinking more along the lines of fantasy than reality. Okay? And that's the problem. Sometimes I'll tell people, yeah, I like that player in fantasy. I don't want him in reality. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you want Lamar Jackson? Yeah, I want him in fantasy. Hell yeah, I want him in fantasy. I don't want him in reality. Can't win in the playoffs, right? Shut down the run. Ryan Tannehill. Some of you guys like him, right? Oh, sure. While he's riding Derrick Henry's coattails, he gets 2 touchdowns, throws 200-some yards, so he's a decent quarterback for fantasy. In reality, I don't want him at all. You know what I mean? So there are those, and that's the problem. I think it's clouded us to a certain extent. Kirk Cousins, fine fantasy quarterback. You're going to get nice numbers from him. He's going to throw for 3,500, 4,000 yards every year. Do I want him in reality? Get the hell out of here. You can have Kirk Cousins. and his 3,500, 4,000 yards and that, he throws 30 touchdowns. I don't want him in reality. And that's what happens with the crossover of fantasy and reality. That there's a lot of fans that have lost the reality of football. And they think that it's all about just, numbers and stats. And there's a lot more to the game when it comes to reality. So fantasy has polluted the mind of a certain percentage of football fans. Yeah, I would agree with that question there. There's no doubt. All right, let's take a quick break. When I come back in hour number 3, I got a couple things I want to talk about. Bruce Smith blasts Tony Baselli. Was it right? All right, I want to get into that. I got a couple of other things that I want to. Jerry Jones, by the way. Well, you felt the wrath of Jerry Jones, and it was coming. We'll talk about that. Marcel Louis-Jacques is going to join us at 12:30, ESPN reporter covering the Miami Dolphins on a daily basis. At 1 o'clock, David Dwork with our lockdown segment. We'll talk a little hockey. As last night, the Avalanche beat the Lightning 4-3 in overtime. So we'll talk to him about the Stanley Cup and anything Panthers related. Sean Stanley is driving this program like he does every single day, mastering it. We thank the Brunetti family and all the great folks for making it nice and easy for us to broadcast every Thursday out here at Hialeah Park. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more right here at Hialeah Park on the Big O Radio Show. For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. For over 25 years, South Floridians have counted on Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises for their roofing needs. In South Florida, we battle the sweltering heat, rain, winds, and all kinds of tropical storms. That's why when it comes to protecting your family, home, or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All work fully guaranteed with the customer's complete satisfaction. A+ rated member of the Better Business Bureau. Licensed and insured. There's no buts about it. When your roof needs repair or replacement, go to TommyBButtsJrEnterprises.com. A certified white mean contractor. The Big O O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Number 3, coming to you live from Hialeah Park. Marcel Louis Jacques is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Angel Padilla is asking me, Big O, did you hear Edmonds' comments about Tua? Who's Edmonds? Love seeing the players understand the crappy situation the last 2 years. Oh, Chase Edmonds, you must be talking about. I did not hear Chase Edmonds' comments on it. I would imagine it's Chase, right? Because that's the only Edmonds I can think of right now on the team or anything related with the team. So no, I did not. Listen, man, I get it. You know, it's just you don't believe in the guy, and you just think everything. And what I told Poupart, I think it's the truth. I think Zach Thomas gets dissed because he's a short ass linebacker, and I've said this for many, many years. Zach deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I've always said, I'm afraid that Zach will be the guy that's on the outside looking in because he's short. I said that years ago because it's just one of those things. And it's happening to Tua right now, dude. Oh, he's too short. His arm is not strong enough. With both are lies. They're inaccurate. His arm is more than strong enough to have success in the NFL. And at his height, he can easily have success in the NFL. Kyler Murray's shorter than he is. But again, if you're not built the way people are used to it, then they don't consider you the same thing. That's all. You know, I'm trying to think of a really cute and hot skinny girl compared to, you know, a curvy, you know, Beyonce, let's say, who obviously is considered a goddess, but she's a tall, curvy woman. You know what I mean? And these tall, curvy women are looked at a lot more. I don't know. How would you? What adjective am I looking for here? More attractive, let's say, than the girl that is small, cute, and really good looking, but she's a small, skinny little thing. You know, a Shania Twain or something. You know, and then and she doesn't get the same love or attention because she's not as curvy as J Lo. It's kind of it's one of the we do this. It's human nature, man. It's human nature. The women probably do it too. There's a guy that's really good looking, right? And he's 5'9". And then there's a guy that's good looking and he's 6'1". Prototypical. 5'9", not prototypical. He's a little short. Okay, well, wait a minute. He's just as cut up as the other guy. He looks just as good looking as the other guy. They are the same kind of athletes. They both have the same profession. Yeah, but he's not prototypical because your prototypical man is not 5'9". Your prototypical man is 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". That's what women like. And how do you like your quarterback? You like your quarterback 6'5", not 6'1". You like your quarterback to throw it out of the stadium, not to only be able to throw it 60 yards. Right? So it's just one of those deals. And to me, Brian Urlacher, built like the perfect linebacker. Zach Thomas, not built like the perfect linebacker. But wait a minute. Hold on a second. You know? That's Drew Brees, not built like the perfect quarterback, right? But John Elway was. So then we look at John Elway and we don't give Drew Brees the same kind of love because Drew Brees was short, didn't have the powerful arm, wasn't the athlete that Elway was, wasn't drafted in the first round as a pitcher. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. You let me see God. Trying to think of guys, probably an Altuve, okay, outside of the cheating, you know, compared to, let's say, a guy that's a strapper and you know, a Dave Winfield who was like, you know, perfect, you know, that kind of guy. Miguel Cabrera, big strapping, you know, stud hitter. These guys are all prototypical. And then you see the guy that isn't, and it's like we don't treat that man or that woman the same way as the other guy. Like, and you know, in soccer, we've talked about this many times over the years. A lot of your stars are short in soccer. But if you find a superstar soccer player that's 6'1", you'll be more attracted to that guy than the 5'7" guy that's been scoring goals left and right named Messi. You know? Maradona was like 5'6". Like a whole bunch of these guys, most of their soccer stars are short. They're 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", which, by the way, I always wonder about Americans. Think about this. Short athletes don't play baseball, football, and basketball. Very few of them make it to the majors, to the NBA, to all that. Where are all the American short athletes? Why aren't you all playing soccer? Because the rest of the world has a whole bunch of short dudes that are the most dominant players in the world. And we got a bunch of great athletes, great American athletes that can't play baseball because they're not tall enough, can't play football because they're not tall enough. Go look at the sports. Yeah, you'll find a couple of short people. They'll come, the Altuves of the world, the Pedroias of the world, the Danny Woodheads of the world. Yeah, they'll sneak in. They'll get in. There's a couple of those guys. But I always wonder, like, where the hell did those short players go? They go become lawyers and firemen and teachers and all that. They could be making millions playing soccer. It's funny, but that's our perception of life in general. We don't give the person that doesn't look like the prototypical whatever the same credit that the person that does look like the prototypical whatever. It's funny. It's just the way it is. You know, you could be a great short actor, but then there's this tall, handsome 6'1" guy that's a great actor, and he's going to get more love than you. And he's going to be accepted more than you than the short actor, who's just absolutely phenomenal. But that's what we do. And that's what's going on with Zach Thomas and Brian Urlacher. Zach has better stats. You can argue he might have been the better player, but he doesn't look like Brian Urlacher. And that's what we fall in love with. The 6'5" athletic linebacker that runs like a deer, but yet doesn't play better than the 5'10" guy that came out of Texas Tech. But because he's a 5'10" square-headed dude that, doesn't look like Brian Urlacher gets in first ballot, and there's Zach Thomas waiting because he's short and doesn't look the part. That's what goes on. Anyway, if you want to get in, it's really simple on the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. As 5'7", please refer to us as below average. Thank you. I'm sorry. But, I have to say it because that's what people are thinking. And it's not that I mean anything bad by it, but it's just how people just naturally think. That's all. You see a big, beautiful woman that's 5'8", 5'9", 5'7", gorgeous and all kinds of curves, and you're saying, wow, what a woman. You see one that's 4'11", 5 foot, 5. Oh, she's a cutie. And she might be just as hot as the other one. She might have the same kind of curves as the other one. But man, when they're 5'7" or 5'8", they're prototypical, baby. They're prototypical. They're not prototypical at 4'11". They're cute. It's just the way it is, man. It's life. It's the way we've been programmed. So we don't tend to give the person with the lesser looks the same credit for the same accomplishments. That's the way it is. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O Sam Mills is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, and he's 5'9", cut by the NFL and CFL. I don't think it's about size, about the player, but more of who had the better impact in the league. Sam Mills has also been in the list a lot longer, sir. You gotta know your facts, my brother. It's probably why. The short guy should have gotten in earlier. That's my point. You're making my point, actually, by mentioning Sam Mills. You do know that, right? You just helped me, actually, with my point with Sam Mills. Sam Mills retired, I don't know how long. By the way, is he getting in with a Veterans Committee thing, I bet? Can you check on the Sam Mills thing? Is he getting in? And is he getting in by a Veterans Committee thing? Because that sounds more like it, because Sam Mills retired a hell of a long time ago. But guess what? Ricky Jackson, which I think he's a South Florida guy or somewhere in the Muck area where I was born. I think he might be an Immokalee Belglade type guy like me. I'm a Belglade guy. I think he might be from there, right? I think Ricky Jackson might be from there, but prototypical linebacker Ricky Jackson, not Sam Mills. And Sam Mills was a hell of a player. And how long did it take him? Like 87 years to get into the damn Hall of Fame. So you just helped my point, my brother. And thank you for that. Appreciate you on that. Big O, quick question. Which defense was better, the 80s Dolphins or the 80s Broncos? Oh, I'm gonna go 80s Bronco. What's it called? No, 80s Broncos. Wait, are you talking about like the Orange Crush Broncos? Not the Broncos that, not because Elway didn't have a defense that was. I would go with the Dolphins. The Carl Mecklenburg Orange Crush, which was I think 79 or something like that. What do you got for me there? It was his last year of eligibility and what? Okay, so
He said he was in his third and final year of eligibility as modern candidate.
No, not it could have been third.
He was elected in his third and final year of eligibility as, yeah.
But when he retired? No, it was dude. He didn't retire.
I know he retired a while ago. I'm just saying
it wasn't 8 years ago that he retired. It was a lot longer than that. A lot longer.
This is straight out of Carolina Panthers website. Because everybody just says he's part of the 2022 class. So
right.
Nobody says whether he's the thing, but then Carolina said that he was in modern, his last year as a modern candidate.
Yeah, that must be like his last year, and it's a long time ago. Tell me when he retired, because I want to say he retired very early 2000s, right? I want to say he's been retired a long time, dude. Sam Mills.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Yeah. I want to say it was one of those deals.
He was a coach from 98 to 2004.
Wow, coach
with Carolina Panthers. So 97 in Carolina Panthers was his last
97, bro. So that has to be a Veterans Committee thing. That it was
the Carolina Panthers Hall of Fame, New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame, Saints Ring of Honor.
Of course. That guy was a hell of a player, but he's short. That had to be a Veterans Committee, because if he retired, think about it, 97 he retired, and we're in 2022 now. That's 25 years. So he must have been getting in by some kind of a Veterans Committee thing, Sam Mills, because this must have been his last. This must be his last year of eligibility. Like, if he didn't get in, he wasn't going to be eligible ever again to get into the Hall of Fame. It's probably what it sounds like. 25 years, man. Why does Sam Mills have to wait 25 years? See what I'm saying? It's just they don't get the respect. It's just the way it is. Elway choked in all those Super Bowls. No, man, he didn't choke in all those teams were terrible, my man. I disagree with you, Eric, completely. I remember those teams. Bro, Sammy Winder? No, you're not winning with Sammy Winder, my man. You're winning with Terrell Davis. No. I completely disagree with you. This is the whole Tua argument. Elway was a great player. Elway didn't have a defense and didn't have the right pieces on offense at times, and he had to do so much in order for them to get there. And then eventually at the end of his career is when they finally figured it out and had a defense and a running game. And then they ended up winning, because every great quarterback needs help. I don't care who you are. So that's a perfect example of why you're wrong. I disagree with you, Eric, and that you misread it completely. He didn't win early on because his teams weren't good enough. Obviously, he was good enough because they went on to win back-to-back Super Bowls. Why? Because you gave him a coach, you gave him the defense, you gave him the running game, and he went off to run. He went off and running and won back-to-back Super Bowls. I completely disagree with you. John Elway is a perfect example of what I talk about with Tua, that he doesn't have anything around him, so it's hard to succeed. So now that you give him this, he should be able to succeed. If Mike McDaniel is what we think he is, and he fixes the running game, then that will help Tua go out there and win. I don't care who you are, dude. Marino didn't win a championship because he never had a defense, never had a running game, and I'll always add the extra caveat that most people don't. He didn't have the right side of the line either. Okay? His arm helped those guys up front have less sacks. The only thing that was elite on that line was on the left side, not on the right side. So he didn't have that kind of line either. That's why Marino didn't win. And that's why Elway didn't win early on. And Elway won late because they finally gave him the help he needed. We have this thing, and some of you have to stop already with this. The QB does not carry the entire team. It's impossible. Nobody does that. You're going to need help, and a lot of help. It's the ultimate team game. That's why they say it all the time. Anyway, Elway carried those 80s Broncos to the Super Bowl. Yep, that's why he was amazing, because he would get them to that point. Just to get them to that point was just awesome. Big O, will be amazing if we sweep the Bills this season. That would be nice. I'll take a split right for now. Okay, I need you to take a step forward and win a game. Okay, because what is it? Aren't they like 0-6 against Josh Allen or something like that? Like they've never beaten Josh Allen, I think, right? So yeah, no, I just yeah, of course, it would be nice to win all the games against the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots. I would love to go 6-0 in a perfect world. But you know what? I'm not going to get greedy. Let me just split against the Bills, and that's a move forward. Okay? Would be nice. Would be nice. So we'll see. Bruce Smith blasted Tony Baselli. So let me and the question is, was it right? Because Tony Baselli is getting into the Hall of Fame. So Bruce Smith took a shot at Tony Baselli, and it was one that was, well, he goes, a large part of the campaign to promote Tony Baselli into the Hall of Fame seems to hyper-focus on a single successful performance he had against me in 96 in a playoff game, Smith wrote. And yes, he did play very well against, Bruce Smith in that game. One of the guys, Dan Hickens, said, Bruce Smith's comments today allow me to stick up for the big fella, Tony Baselli. He never talked about that game unless asked about it. It was his coming out party, but my goodness, Bruce, look at some of the other dudes Baselli went against while there. And let me tell you something. Tony Baselli is a Hall of Fame talent. I know Bruce Smith is one of the badasses to ever play in the NFL. He is awesome, dude. Okay? He is, you talk about the prototypical defensive end, that's Bruce Smith. All right? That guy is awesome. But the only knock that Tony Baselli legitimately has is the same one that Gale Sayers had. It's the same one that Terrell Davis has. It's the same one that I know there's recently another person that has a short career that they were talking about whether he's in or out. I don't remember right now, but this happens throughout, sports sometimes. There are those special talents that unfortunately the injuries ended up, shortening their careers. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, is this person a Hall of Famer? And did they play long enough? Because longevity has to be a part of being a Hall of Famer, I believe, right? But hey, Gale Sayers made it in. And, Terrell Davis. Okay, Tony Baselli's one of those guys. He did not have a long career. But was there any doubt when he was playing? It wasn't just against Bruce Smith. We saw him have good games against our guy, against Jason Taylor. And Tony was a fearless guy on that on in those days on that line. That guy took on the best player on every defensive line. So there is no doubt. Yes, we can have the arguments. Should Gale Sayers be in? Should Terrell Davis be in? Should Tony Baselli be in? Because of longevity. And that's the part that we can have a discussion about. But can you really discuss their talent? Right? By far, all three were Hall of Fame talents. Now, we can discuss the longevity issue. Okay? That's one. But for Bruce Smith to say that, Tony Baselli made his career on just him, that's completely inaccurate. It's unfair to Tony Baselli. The guy was a hell of a player, and he deserves the credit that he should get for the kind of player he was. And by the way, those Jags teams were pretty damn good. Those Mark Brunell, Fred Taylor, Keenan McCardell, Jimmy Smith, Kevin Hardy, those teams were pretty good, man. They got to the AFC Championship game. They spanked our Dolphins 62-7. Handed Marino his worst defeat and the last game of his career. I think at times we get a little too full of ourselves, and I get it. You're Bruce Smith. You've had a lot of accomplishments. Maybe you can get full of yourself, but I will say that he went a little far. He goes, Tony was a formidable opponent during his brief career, but I find it difficult to compare the totality of his body of work with those of the NFL great left tackles. He wrote, arguing Boselli's benefiting from protecting Mark Brunell, a mobile left-handed quarterback. And, I just found it unfair. You really dissed the man's career. He was a player, man. He was a hell of a player. No doubt about that. All right, let's talk to Marcel Louis-Jacques. Let's get our Miami Dolphins and NFL report right here, our myedgedrink.com Miami Dolphins report.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right. There he is. The man that misses Deshaun Watson coming to Miami.
Chill out immediately. And we're gonna restart that. Intro.
No.
Something about the Edge Energy Drink.
You want drama here, so you can write about it every day.
Smooth. So like,
don't you want to write about all that? Come on. You want to write about all that drama.
We're not gonna start my segment off like that. I can promise you. You got me worked up, bro. You about to put me back on the ICU.
That's my job here, is to get you a little worked up here. That's kind of the idea there. Do you know anybody, by the way? Do you have any friends in Cleveland that have to cover that mess?
Oh yeah, Jake Trotter. I sent him. I think we all owe him a bottle of whiskey at this point. It was so morbid because we had to. First it was. I'm in a group chat with a few other ESPN NFL reporters, and at first it was, sorry, Sarah, sorry, Marcel. And then we were praising Jake. We're like, all right, Jay, you're out. Like, because the Browns were supposed to be out, right? And then all of a sudden, like, it just came together like that. And we're like, never mind, bro. That's awful for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover that. I don't want to touch any of that.
No, I was telling Poupart that how grateful you are for that, because when I was on the beat, I had to cover Tony Martin in a money laundering case, and I was 3 days in the courts in Miami, and it was no fun, dude. It sucks, and people are like, "Oh, isn't that cool to be?" And no, dude, I want to cover football. I don't cover this crap, dude. If I wanted to cover news, I would have become a news reporter. I wanted to become a sports talk show host. That's what I want to talk. I want to talk sports. I want to talk about Tony Martin and money laundering and how much.
Yeah, I never really had to deal with.
Oh God.
Never really had to deal with legal drama. I mean, the Panthers. Let me think. The Panthers. Eric Reed. That's how I got my big break into journalism. Was covering Eric Reed's random drug testing, and then what was the most dramatic thing that happened with the Bills? Probably just everything about the everything about the vaccine. Now they're public.
Yeah, you guys.
complaints
Yeah,
about the vaccine.
The worst thing was Beasley, right, for you guys.
That was one of the, and I have, look, man, to this day, I have a great relationship with Cole Beasley and his team. Like, I love Cole, man. That was my guide up there. But one of the most surreal moments I have ever experienced in journalism, first day of training camp last year, he sat down. To his credit, he volunteered. He said, like, I'll go first. He sat down and he read a prepared statement for about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. It's on my Instagram page. And he said, insisted, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I just want to get this out the way for you guys. And then I'm going to talk about football from here on out. Like, I'm not going to go on Twitter. I'm not going to be distracted. All of this, right? 45 minutes later, he dropped an entire song called Heavy Nuts, in which he basically says, I'm dropping you-know-what on everybody in this world who's trying to tell me what to do. I said, bro, are you nuts, man? Are you kidding me? No pun intended, but like, you just said you're going to stop. You just said you're done with this. And so, like, at that moment, like, my move to Miami was already like in the works. I was like, all right, I'm done with this, man. Like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this for a full season. And the Bills, they had somebody new on that list every single week, man. Every single week, the Bills had somebody else on the COVID list. I think they're one of the only teams in the NFL to be like that. So it was just, but nothing, again, nothing like legal, nothing that would require matters of public record and documents and all of this stuff. Like, that's not my forte. And it's not really my forte. I connect with people. That's what I'm good at. But I'd be lying if I said I've had to dive into court documents very often in my career.
No, it's definitely not a lot of fun. Let me ask you, you look at Brian Urlacher's comments. What'd you think of that? Because it's cool to it's I was talking about this with Poupart about this. It's natural for us, unfortunately, we are programmed this way. We don't give credit to the person that doesn't look prototypical compared to the person that looks prototypical. So she could look, she could be 4'11", and she's a knockout, and she's curvy, and she's beautiful, but then she stands next to Beyonce. And then you say, and she's just as beautiful as Beyonce and just as curvy, but you're going to go, wow, Beyonce, because she's prototypical. She's 5'6", and you look at Brian Urlacher. He's 6'5" and runs like a deer and is built like the prototypical linebacker. And then you look at Zach Thomas, and he's 5'10", and he has a square head, jughead, and he's white and not as fast as some other guys, and not Ray Lewis, and not, some of these other cats that everybody looks at and they say those are more prototypical. And that's why I see a guy like that on the outside looking in. And it's funny because somebody just mentioned that Sam Mills is getting in. Sam Mills retired in 1997. So that means he's probably getting in on some seniors thing, committee thing. And you're talking about a guy in 97. And why? Because he's 5'9" or whatever the hell Sam Mills was. Some really short linebacker. And yet he was a hell of a player. And I think that's what happens in our society, that we tend to give the person that looks prototypical a little more credit than the person that doesn't look prototypical, even though they're as good.
I mean, I suppose so, but I mean, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't really matter what you look like, what you're built like. If you have the merits, more often than not, you're gonna end up where you belong. What's the big?
But not the same way, right? But not the same way, because Urlacher is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yet Zach Thomas is waiting and waiting and waiting, and his stats are better, actually. So it's kind of the weird thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's the knock on Zach Thomas besides the build? It's that he played on this, star-studded, full of all-pro defense, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate there. I think statistically, yeah, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't particularly like Brian Urlacher, the person, but as a player, he was an excellent person. So, like, if he thinks that they should be in, then Zach Thomas should be in. Like, there's a lot of players, though, that should be in the Hall of Fame. And I think, maybe and stay with me here because, it's not fun when it happens to you, but hear me out. Maybe that adds to the allure of the Hall of Fame. That makes it that much more special when somebody gets in. If there ain't a list of people on the outside looking in with a lot of everybody saying, why isn't that in? Why didn't they get in? Where's their invite? Then it's not as exclusive as it possibly can be. So I see somebody just commented Steve Tasker not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think that is an absolute disgrace. I think that's maybe, and somebody's gonna come in here talking about the Bills, but I think that might be as big, if not a bigger current snub than Zach Thomas's Tasker not getting in. As maybe the greatest.
How can you say that, dude? This is an every down player, bro.
He's the greatest special teams player of all time.
You never put any special teams player in front of an every down player, ever.
Well, clearly neither of them are getting in. So I think it's as big of a snub. I think that special teams deserves its day in the highlight, especially when you make as big of an impact on the game.
By the way, what's Steve Tasker's problem also?
I mean, yeah, he's small, but come on, this isn't the Hall of Very Big. Like, this isn't the Hall of Big Humans. We'd have DJ Raji first ballot.
I'm just telling you what human nature is. It has nothing to do with the Hall of Fame. I'm just telling you what human nature is. Human nature is like that. Human nature, we just don't give the person that doesn't look prototypical the same credit when they deserve the same amount of credit. That's my point right there. Exactly what it is. Zach Thomas was as good or better than Brian Urlacher. He should be in just as fast as Brian Urlacher should have gotten in, but yet he doesn't. Steve Tasker, one of the great special teams players of all time, not getting a sniff. That's because he's not the prototypical player. Because he was small. He was an overachiever. Sam Mills, small, overachiever. That's just the way our lives, that's the way we are, bro. We're not going to look at Drew Brees and Peyton Manning the same way. Yet, one wasn't better than the other. Just as good.
Peyton Manning was better than Drew Brees.
There you go. But what says that? 2 championships to 1? Is that it?
2 championship overall grasp of the game, bigger brand as well. Like I think that Peyton Manning had a bigger impact on the game than
because he has the bigger personality and Drew Brees has none.
But that has nothing to do with his size. That has nothing to do with his size.
You just said bigger brand, bigger name because
Michael Vick is going to be. Michael Vick should be in the Hall of Fame, and Michael Vick is 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall.
What did you just say?
Michael Vick should be in the Hall of Fame, and we're not going to talk about this. Impact on the game? Yes, absolutely.
What impact on the game? What are you talking about?
He's the running quarterback. He's the mobile quarterback. When you think of quarterbacks that run, you think of one name.
And he wasn't very good. So
in
who cares?
World? In this world?
In this world, it's not about running. And Lamar Jackson's proving that every single time he gets to the playoffs. It's about being able to win with your arm, dude. Michael Vick in the Hall of Fame? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Big D, that's not what I said. I didn't say Steve Tasker should be in over Zach Thomas. I knew y'all were going to take it some kind of way. Relax.
Actually, you did say that.
I said he's as big of a snub, if not more. I didn't say he should be in here before Zach Thomas should be in here.
You may want to rewind there. Yeah, you did say it, actually. You did say.
You rewind. I'll watch the recording.
You watch the recording. You did say he should be over. You did.
Okay. But we're getting off track.
You may want to correct it, okay? But yes, you did say that.
Mike Vick should be in the Hall of Fame. End of story. I'm done reading the comments.
Who's that?
Michael Vick should be in the Hall of Fame.
No, that you're completely
end of story.
Wrong. That we can argue and have some fun with the Steve Tasker one and Zach and all that if you want, because Steve Tasker is a Hall of Famer, but Michael Vick is not a Hall of Famer, bro.
Well, I'm gonna make it my mission now to get a Hall of Fame vote, and Mike Vick is getting in.
No, Mike Vick will never get in.
Impact on the game. I think impact on the game. That's what Hall of Fame is about. That is what it's about.
No, it's not. Nobody gets in
for category. for
No,
the game.
they get in for being great at their position. He's not great at his position. His position requires for you to be great here.
There is
Not
an entire category for players who made an impact on the game. That is how he will get in.
Who?
He will get in.
Who?
What do you mean? Who have we been talking about?
Who is in the Hall of Fame because of the impact they made on the game?
You make me pull up the list of Hall of Famers. Like, I don't know the list of everybody in the Hall of Fame off the top of my head.
Give me one at least. I can give you one actually, but he actually won something that Michael Vick didn't do, and he actually like Joe Namath.
All right.
He's not in for stats. Go look at his stats.
He's not in for stats. I don't think Terry Bradshaw's in for stats either.
No. Terry Bradshaw
he's on a great team and won a ton of court. He's not that great of a quarterback. If we're talking about statistics, even in an era where they didn't throw the ball, like he wasn't that impressive.
I watched Terry Bradshaw. He was a good quarterback, bro, and he won 4 Super Bowls. So you got to give a guy that won
with the steel curtain. Yeah, I could have won Super Bowls. Throwing to Lynn Swan.
Yeah, you still have to make the plays, man. You still have to make the plays, and you still have to make. The plays.
I would have made the plays.
You're dismissing something. You know, that's I always have that issue when somebody didn't live it and watch it like I did, and you can't talk about it the same way, man. It's just not. But on the flip side, what we were talking about before, I mean, you know. You got to give credit where credit is due at times, and that's the problem, that they don't, because of your image, the way you look. You know,
I mean, Terrell Owens missed out on how many years of Hall of Fame voting because of his image, because of his brand, because of people just didn't like him. He wasn't nice to the media for a long time.
But Terrell Owens is a Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer. Yes,
yeah, but he was just because you're a first-class asshole doesn't mean you don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Terrell Owens was a first-class asshole, and he wasn't a really good teammate, but he was a hell of a player and a great
one of the best wide receivers ever to play, without a doubt.
There's no doubt about it. That's why Michael Vick has nowhere to be in that business, because he wasn't ever great at passing the ball. And no one in the Hall of Fame is in because of how they changed the game. The closest is Joe Namath, and that's because he won a championship with the Jets. He helped bring the merger of the AFL and the NFL, because the AFL outpaid the NFL for his rights, and then they started stealing players from the NFL, and that brought the NFL to its knees. And the Joe Namath move was the thing that triggered everything in all of that. So he had an impact that was a little different because it was merging 2 leagues, together. So that I can tell you, okay, there was a little bit of greatness in the player and talent, and then also his impact on what he did at that moment in the 60s. But that was a fragile moment for the sport at that time.
I think that while there were obviously, Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon, John Elway, there were mobile quarterbacks before Michael Vick entered the league, but Michael Vick changed how the position can be played. I think if Michael Vick was in this era, that we would be looking at him in a little different light than we were as the unicorn in the early 2000s. I think he's more fit.
You can't pass, you can't pass, my brother. If you can't pass, you can't pass. Nothing's gonna change.
I think Lamar's a better passer than Michael Vick, but he was such an elite runner. Like, I think that we get way too caught up in that conversation of, well, he can't pass. I don't really care. Like, if you make an impact on the game, if you are so prolific of a runner that you don't have to be a pinpoint passer, you don't have to be Peyton Manning. I don't give a shit if you're Peyton Manning.
But you're not a quarterback then.
Break 7 tackles on one play and get 15 yards when you try to scramble. Like,
you're not a quarterback.
Who cares?
You're a running back playing quarterback then. That's what you are.
So we're gonna discount running backs who are great receivers?
No,
because they're not as good between the tackles. Like, you stretch the limit of what the position asks you to.
By the way, a receiving running back does not usually get into the Hall of Fame ever, because a receiving running back is not going to get enough yards to get into the Hall of Fame. So that's usually what happens when you're a receiving running back. It's because you're not a good enough running back. Period. You know what I mean? That's why they've got you doing that. That's why you're Patrick Laird. because you can't run the ball. So the only thing they can use.
I don't think we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Patrick Laird in the same breath as like a Marshall Faulk.
What do you want me to do? You want me to go to the Detroit kid from a few years back? What's his name? That all he did was catch passes too. And there's been running backs in the history of time that they weren't good enough runners and they used them just as passers. You're not getting in the Hall of Fame like that.
I'm just saying. I think
if you're a quarterback that can't win with your arm, you're not getting in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think that Marshall Faulk is as good of a runner as Emmitt Smith, but because Marshall Faulk was so electric with the ball in his hands and is so electric as a receiver, then he becomes more of a Hall of Fame back. Like if you can do multiple things well, then it doesn't matter if you can't do the primary thing that your position asks you to do as not can't do, but it doesn't matter to me as much if you aren't as good as some other players. Like again, I think we get too wrapped up in.
By the way, I disagree with you completely. Marshall Faulk.
You don't move the ball.
Marshall Faulk was a better runner than Emmitt Smith. Marshall Faulk was a better receiver than Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith had the better team and the better line. He was a great running back, whether it's Escambia High, whether it's Florida, whether it's Dallas. It didn't matter where he dominated. He was a running back.
We're gonna forget about the greatest show on turf.
Marshall Faulk is one of the greatest running backs of all time.
Yeah, he is great. I'm just saying. I don't think he, as a pure runner, if you're just going to say, all right, we're going with pure running backs, pure runners. I don't think he's Barry Sanders. I don't think he's Emmitt Smith, but their ability to catch the ball and move outside with the ball. There are better runners than Marshall Faulk, but his ability as a receiver adds to his Hall of Fame resume. Like, I just don't.
They're all Hall of Famers. They're all Hall of Famers, but as runners,
I just don't think we can discount. I don't think we can discount Lamar Jackson's skill. I'm not saying Lamar's a Hall of Famer, but it adds in the conversation. I don't think we discount Lamar's skill. I don't think we can discount Michael Vick's skill as a runner just because they aren't as prolific of a passer. I think that I don't think it's very. I think we get too wrapped up in these guys have to sit in the pocket and throw the ball.
I don't discount Randall Cunningham's talent either, but he's not a Hall of Famer. That's all. There's nothing wrong with any of that. By the way, Barry the runner, Marshall the runner, then Emmitt the runner. Emmitt just had the better team than those guys, so he was able to accomplish more than those guys. But
definitely had a better team than Barry. I don't think he had a better team. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, he had a better team than Marshall. Marshall had a better team for a window. For a short window, he had a great offense.
That window, that was one of the best offenses in NFL history.
Yeah. But the Rams never had the defense that the Dallas Cowboys had ever. Not even close. It's not even close to that defense was a Hall of Fame type defense, period, that the Dallas Cowboys had. Emmitt Smith was surrounded by a great team. Marshall Faulk was just a great player, and Barry Sanders had nothing. He had a moment where he had a nice offense for a couple of years, but overall, that guy was.
The Lions were the Lions at the end of the day. Like, there are certain organizations, it really don't matter the players that you have. It doesn't matter the talent that you have. Your organization is just going to be itself at the end of the day. Yeah. Detroit is the poster child for that.
Yep.
Cleveland, right in there.
What are you working on ESPN, or are you off this week?
I think I'm just coming off of COVID IR any day now, and perfect timing because there's nothing really to do. But no, this is feature heavy time of the year. Obviously, speculation season's kind of high. We're probably going to see a ridiculous argument or two over the course of the next month. Don't overreact to things you see on Twitter. Don't listen when people say the Jets are secretly going to be the second best team in the AFC East or something like that. Like, something crazy.
And just don't say Michael Vick's going in the Hall of Fame either. How about that?
I think Mike Vick's a Hall of Famer. We're going to call this a difference of opinion. That's that.
We're going
to call it a difference of opinion.
I'm going to say you're out of your effing mind is what I'm going to say.
No, okay? I'm sorry for thinking outside the box here, but I view the game a little differently.
Yeah. He's in the CFL Hall of Fame. That's how outside the box you're thinking.
All right. Yeah, you thought I think you think the CFL is a little different than it actually is, man. You're over here talking about Colin Kaepernick should be in the CFL.
He should have gone over there. He quit. He's a quitter.
If he wanted a paycheck, he should have gone over there. It wasn't about the paycheck.
If he wants to be a quarterback like Jeff Garcia, like Joe Theismann, like Warren Moon, They all went to the CFL and showed the NFL that we can play. And if he would
Different
have
era.
left right away to the CFL and balled out, half the league would have been crying to their owners and their GMs and saying, "Go sign that guy because he's kicking ass." And he
It's
would
a
have
different.
forced the league back.
It's a different era. Jeff Garcia and Warren Moon, especially, different era where, one, there weren't as many ways for those guys to make money as there are for Colin
Dude,
Kaepernick.
they just gave a guy $200 million guaranteed who could be an alleged rapist. If he goes and kicks ass in the CFL, they re-sign him.
I was like, bro,
Somebody signs him, dude.
I'm saying that Garcia and Moon had to go to the CFL because there aren't as many opportunities to make money, which is why I say if he wanted a paycheck, then yeah, sure, Colin could have gone to the CFL, but it wasn't about no paycheck.
Oh, okay. So then you agree with me. He quit. He didn't really want to be a quarterback. He wanted to be, a poster child for a cause.
I think that he, to a certain extent, I did believe that, no, he didn't do everything possible to play in the NFL. That's true. But he did it to prove a point. I think he did it to prove a point. He did it to keep his dignity. He did it because he wanted the NFL to do the right thing, and the NFL wasn't finna do the right thing.
Okay, so then just don't tell me you really want to be a quarterback and give me those.
I'm saying, like, did he break his back to try to be an NFL quarterback? Probably not. But he wanted the NFL to do the right thing. He did things. He did what he was supposed to do. I don't think he went outside of his way. You know what I mean? Like, I think he just didn't want to do the whole shuck and jive tap dance for the NFL, and I don't blame him for that. But yeah, I can admit that. Yeah, did he do?
He wants the NFL to do the right thing, and meanwhile they're hiding Daniel Snyder.
Hey, I didn't say it was the best play in the world, but I mean, he walks out with his dignity intact, and he walks out with a lot of money. He can try it out. Like, I hope he gets signed sometime this year. But no, did he go to the CFL? No. Did he try to play in the AFL or the AAF or the XFL, all of these? No. Did he try to join training camp as a tight end? No. Because he knows what he is. Like, he kept his pride. And
Marcel, do you think anybody really is going to sign him? Do you think really they're going to? The guy hasn't played for 5 years. Nobody hasn't prepared for NFL defense.
I hope they do, but I know they won't. I hope they do. But I know the NFL at this point. I know the league.
Listen. Forget the politics. Forget about the blackballing. That's already been done. Just on a football side, do you know how incredibly stupid you got to be to sign a guy that's been away from football for 5 years, and all of a sudden you're going to start working him into your offense? Are you out of your mind? You can't put a guy that hasn't been in the league for 5 years, and then all of a sudden you got to throw him there in the middle of the battle, and when your starter goes down and he hasn't done it, that would be incredibly stupid by any team. If you were going to do that, at least if you were going to try it, you would have had to have signed him right when the season ends, so you can have him from the beginning of your off-season program all the way through. The fact that you haven't installed him in your off-season program and now you're going to go to training camp, that tells me all I need to know.
I think it's less likely. It is less likely now than ever that he would be signed by a team. Yeah, I agree there. I think we're past the point of Colin is better than X amount of quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like, in 2018, the man should have been on a team.
Right. And
in 2019, the man should have been on a team. But it has been too long. No, where I was. Look, and I support Colin Kaepernick, and I think that he was wronged by the NFL. Like, it sucks. It's an awful thing that happened. I think years from now, people are going to look back and say, "Wow!" Like, look back and disgust at it. But where I think I realized, I think he wants to play, but it's not like the most important thing in the world to him.
Definitely
is his workout a few years back, where it was going to be in Atlanta, or it was in Atlanta. It was going to be at the Falcons facility. He changed it to the last minute. Only a few teams showed up. And he did this interview afterward that was more of a prepared statement than a press conference, essentially daring NFL teams to sign him. And that's when I knew, okay, like, he's not willing to tap dance for a job. Right. And like, if you're willing to tap dance for a job, that means like you are that desperate. And I don't think he was desperate.
Yeah,
that's what I've been trying to say. I don't think he's desperate.
And he's not very bright, because if you think
I'm not gonna say he's not very bright.
Oh, no, definitely. He's definitely not very bright, because if you think you can challenge the NFL to sign me, like the NFL needs me. And by the way, he isn't very bright. When he's wearing a Fidel Castro shirt and you're talking about social injustice, well, you better have an education that there's a lot of people being mistreated in the world. Gays, Cubans, North Koreans, Chinese, know what the hell you're wearing. You know what I mean? And so when you're wearing a Fidel Castro shirt, and by the way, I think he actually even backed it up by saying there are some good things he did, or I forgot, I'm paraphrasing or something, which showed his ignorance. And by the way, wearing pig socks also is ignorant. It's not very smart, because we do have a lot of good cops. And what we don't want to do is lump them all the same. We know we got to get rid of the bad ones, but we also know we got a lot of great ones that is.
I'm not gonna dive too far into matters of talking about the police and good ones and bad ones. Only thing I will say is that I think it would be a lot easier on their cause if the good ones called out the bad ones when necessary. I think
and it's also good if you're going to fight for social injustice, be educated and be respectful of others who are suffering all over the world. So if you want people to respect your cause, you better respect others' cause. And by wearing a Fidel Castro shirt, that mother effer will never be able to be accepted here in South Florida, because every Cuban doesn't want any part of Colin Kaepernick. Okay.
It was Castro. Did you wear a Che Guevara shirt?
No, it was Castro and Malcolm X together in the shirt. And I'm sure his dumb ass was like, yeah, Malcolm X. Yeah, all right, great. But dude, did you know the guy that was next to him? It's like, yo, dumbass, you're in South Florida. You're wearing a Castro shirt. What kind of a stupid mother effer are you? Seriously. Like,
like I said, I can't.
It's not very bright, bro. There's nothing bright about that, Marcel. And that's something you and everybody else has to admit. If you're going to talk about social injustice and how people are mistreated, have the respect and understand that we have Hasidic Jews being beaten right now in Brooklyn. And we have Chinese people walking around, Asian people that are being beaten up for no reason at all. And we have gays, people in the gay community that are being mistreated. And we have children, and we have blacks, and we have Latins, and we have all kinds of people that are being mistreated. You better understand and respect that. If you want to respect someone else's cause, you better understand their cause too at the same time. And that's where I lose it with Colin, because for me, he's the worst face for any movement whatsoever. And this movement is so important. You have the wrong guy that is being used as the face for the movement, which is a joke, because he's a guy that is so uneducated and doesn't understand what the hell he's representing. So it's a shame. It really is in my eyes. But, what can I tell you?
Yeah, I cannot opine on anything Castro related or anything like that. That's not my experience. That's not my, that's not my background.
You're in the community. Delve into it, baby.
That's not my,
delve into it.
I can't speak on things that I know. I won't speak on things that I don't know, because it's my,
you need
not
to
gonna turn me into a blog. I promise you that.
A couple Cuban friends and hang out with them, and you'll feel the pain, and you'll know exactly what they're talking about. So that's why you can't wear a Castro or Che Guevara shirt around a Cuban. I mean,
well, yeah, I'm not.
Just, come on, bro. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. Catch his work there at ESPN, and catch him twice a week here with some crazy ass things like Michael Vick in the Hall of Fame.
Is Sam Madison a Hall of Famer?
I would put him in the Hall. I got no problem with putting Sam, but I can understand where it's going to take him a while to get in, because he doesn't possess Deion Sanders like numbers, and some of these guys that get in that are like Charles what's the guys from Green Bay, Charles Woodson, guys like that.
Green Bay.
Yeah, Charles Woodson wasn't in Green Bay and the Raiders also, right? Wasn't he there?
I can't believe that you would say.
Well,
That's like saying, like Peyton Manning from the Broncos.
I know he was drafted by the Raiders and all that, but I know he played in Green Bay also. So yeah,
I'm a little more offended because I grew up a Raiders fan. But
no, you're right. You should be offended. My apologies. My apologies. He's a Raider. You're right. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sorry to tell you. And you're wrong about Michael Vick, right?
All right. So, what are you working on this next week?
We'll catch you.
Great weekend.
Yes. Work on a great weekend. Follow him on Twitter, Marcel_LJ. We'll catch you later, my brother. Be good. You got it. There you go. Marcel Louis Jacques. All right. Quick turnaround. Here we go. David Dwork next.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Time for the Lockdown segment with Florida Panthers insider David Dwork. This lockdown is brought to you by A. Lenny Locksmith Services. Count on them 24 hours a day. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com. Here's WPLG Local 10 insider David Dwork.
No way Emmitt Smith is a better runner than Marshall Faulk. No way. Sorry. I saw them all. No dice. David is who's the better runner, Marshall Faulk or Emmitt Smith? Better runner.
Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Emmitt Smith was just a downhill type of
he was
run
awesome.
you over badass guy, but Marshall Faulk, I feel like he had a little bit more versality. But I mean, Emmitt's the champ though, right? So
yeah, no. They're all great. They're all great. But he said the argument with Marcel was that he thought Emmitt was the better runner than Marshall, and I think he's too young. He didn't see both, so I did. So I'll play the old man game, and Marshall Faulk was a better runner, bro.
I'll give you props on the Charles Woodson thing, just because he did win a Super Bowl with Green Bay.
Right. That's why.
But I get where he's coming from. But he did win the Super Bowl.
He's right. He's a Raider. He's right. He is a Raider.
I mean, the tuck rule was, that was him. Yeah. He forced that fumble.
I'll give you a funny story with Charles Woodson. So he's at the combine, and back in the day, they don't do it anymore. The Giants had their own. What's that test that they give you? The test that has nothing to do with football, and they just eliminated
Wonderlic.
The Wonderlic, right? They had their own Wonderlic test, and it was like 500 questions. Seriously, it was like an effing book, and they would give it to all their draft picks. So they would, and it was their own psychological thing. So the Giants were picking like 17th or something like that in the draft that year. You got to look it up there, the year that he got drafted. And so he walks in for the interview. And so they hand him the book he looks at the book, he goes, man, I'm not doing that. Besides, you guys have no shot at drafting me. Because he was going to go top 5 anyway. Yeah. So the Giants were out of that mix. So he goes to the Giants, listen, guys, I'll do the interview, but I'm not doing that book. You got no shot at drafting me anyways. I'm not wasting my time with that book. So he shut that off right away. So he told the Giants.
Yeah. And then the Giants trade up and he's shitting his pants. But
yeah, exactly. Well, if they trade up, it's like, yeah, you see, I didn't have to do the book anyway. Right. He wins either way. Last night, bro, it was 3-1. It wasn't looking good. They come back and they tie it 3-3, and then obviously lose it in overtime. Your thoughts on last night's game? It looked like they had two different Vasilevskis, by the way, in that game.
No, actually, it's funny that there's this narrative kind of formed last night that Vasilevsky was struggling. Like the goals that he gave up, those 3 goals, like the first one, he was partially screened. A guy went right across his, I think I want to say Corey Perry, but I could be wrong. One of his own guys went right across his vision, trying to block the shot. The second one, I think, was the 5-on-3. And then the third one was deflected by, his defense was trying to block it. It was deflected as it went through his 5-hole. And then he played lockdown hockey till the end when, they had the turnover by, I think it was Mikhail Sergachev that led to the overtime goal. But no, I think both goalies played really well. I think Vasilevsky we may even get like a little chip on your shoulder, Vasilevsky, in game 2, just because of how game 1 rolled out, and because, you know, the 3 goals in the first period, which you would never expect from Vasilevsky. I think they said on the broadcast it was the first time since like 2016 that it happened that they gave up 3 goals in a first period. So yeah, I don't think he struggled. I thought it was a fun game. I thought if that was Colorado in any of the other 3 series, they're probably putting up like a 6 or a 7 spot, just because the goaltending they faced the first 3 rounds was nothing compared to Vasilevsky. Right. And he had a lot of really nice saves. I'm just hoping that this is just a prelude to another 6 or 7 game series, because that was fun last night. I really enjoyed that game.
It looked like early on the speed was catching them by surprise a little bit, and Tampa kind of had to adjust a little bit. And it looks like in this series, Tampa's going to have to find a way to muck it up a little bit and get a little bit more physical with these guys to kind of slow things down.
No, it's not like we haven't seen them do that in the playoffs at all. And I'm not even just saying against the Panthers. That's what they did at the end of the series against Toronto when they were down 3-2 to the Maple Leafs. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of how good Tampa is that they can change the way that they play, and they can kind of switch things up. And it starts with John Cooper behind the bench. Like, he knows what his players are capable of. And on the flip side, the players know that they might be asked to do different things in a game. They could be asked to do a dump and chase like we saw a little bit of last night. They could be asked to turn up the physical game, which, I mean, you know, from Panthers standpoint, we know that they could do that as well. And then when you got the fallback on Andrei Vasilevsky in goal, Victor Hedman, you got some really good defenders. Sergachev is just a mean son of a bitch out there. He's like one of those guys, kind of like a Radko Gudas, that you absolutely hate unless he's on your team. Tampa's just built, man. I've really grown to respect what they do and the way that they can switch up the way they play. Like, they are legit.
Yeah, and Point played yesterday too. Picked up an assist yesterday, so that was the other plus. We took him yesterday with plus a goal and a half, so we eked by with half a goal on that one overall. But it looked to me like they had adjusted to the speed in like somewhere in that second period into the third. It looked like Tampa was kind of figuring out a little bit, and they weren't necessarily, you know, overmatched at times around the offensive end.
Yeah, it was interesting, kind of like, because Tampa did get those 2 second period goals, but they were like in a 45-second span or whatever it was. It was like once that first period slowed down, and as you said, like once the game, the pace of the game really started to not be more one-sided and speedy, but a little bit more kind of flowing back and forth, each team would get their chances. Then you really saw things close down a bit in terms of the scoring chances. Which was what I was kind of expecting, only because like Colorado had a chance to play wide open hockey throughout the Western Conference playoffs. You know, Nashville wasn't really a challenge for them. The St. Louis series was a lot of run and gun. Edmonton obviously was some wide open hockey. Now they're going to play a team in Tampa that can put the clamps down, and that's going to challenge them. That's going to force them to operate in tight spaces. As we saw, like guys like Nathan McKinnon last night, he didn't get much space to operate at all. And that's kind of been all the playoffs. We've seen him make these great plays where he's moving through space in the neutral zone, cutting into the offensive end, going to the center of the ice. He's not going to get those same kind of opportunities because Tampa's, they skate. They shut things down. They give you no room to operate, which is why I'm just excited to see how this series plays out as it keeps going.
Who'd you pick, by the way?
I took Tampa.
Okay, me too. Yeah, I took Tampa too. We'll see. We'll see if they can actually get it done. The All-Star logo was unveiled yesterday. I saw you tweeted it out, and cool thing, man. It's just,
I love it.
It's pretty phenomenal. What is this, our third All-Star now? Second All-Star. Okay, no, that's right. We had one that was taken away, right, or something like that.
Yeah, 2 years ago,
right?
That was supposed to be here. So
right.
This is kind of like, you know,
the makeup.
Right.
That's what it is. So
the logo's great. I love it. I think it was really cool. The colors are good. The font, the kind of the vintage South Florida font. It's not really pretentious at all. It's just very chill. I thought it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah. Is there, you hear of any plans, anything? Have the Panthers talked a little bit about what they plan to do for that week?
It's going to be spread out. There's nothing like in ink right now, just because the practice facility, I think that Fort Lauderdale element, they want to be a big part of the All-Star celebrations.
Follow up. All right. So
yeah, no, for sure. It's not going to be a sunrise thing. I would expect this to be spread out all across town. They're going to exploit's not the right term. They're going to show off the new facility that they hope is done. I don't I'm not sure if it's
Well,
going to be
dude, you're
done.
blocks away from downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing.
Smart.
It's perfect, and you've got all these different venues, and they've been establishing those relationships now for a while. Like you just go back, not even a year ago, to when they announced the Barkov extension. They did that on this rooftop pool downtown Fort Lauderdale. You could see the property of the War Memorial from where we did it. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. I haven't heard about anything specific at this time, just because I think they're waiting to see exactly what their options are going to be. But it's going to be cool, like no doubt. And I'm non-Panthers related parties and events as well that I've kind of been privy to that have nothing to do with the team. There's going to be some cool events going on that All-Star weekend and the days leading up to it. I would just say, if you're a hockey fan and you're South Florida and you're looking forward to having some fun, just stay tuned to some of the party announcements and some of the different events that are going to be going on. It's going to be a fun week to be a hockey fan down here.
All right, what are we hearing on the coaching side?
It's not a lot has changed since we spoke last week, Orlando, to be honest. I still think it's trending in the direction of Andrew Brunette and him getting to choose his own assistants. I did reach out to a lead source just to find out if there had been any traction, not necessarily for the Panthers job, but if there had been anything going on in terms of Joel Quenneville and him trying to make a return. And I'm getting radio silence there as well, which it always makes me kind of, furrow my brow a little bit, as opposed to, because usually if there's nothing going on, you'll just say, no, it's nothing going on. So when I hear nothing, that kind of makes me wonder.
It might be something, and nothing might be something.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just, that's my interpretation when I start reaching out.
You're not saying anything, then nothing is something. I got you. Okay,
okay, Tony.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But that's something
that nothing is something. Okay, I got you.
It's something that I would maybe just keep an eye out for as we get into the new league year, which is going to start less than a month on the 13th of July. And when we really start to get into next season mode, because the draft is coming up in I think 3 weeks now. It's going to be the 8th and 9th, I believe the 8th and 9th in Montreal, which should be cool also because Montreal got the first overall pick and the draft is in their building. As we get closer into this, the next league year, I would think that these dominoes are going to start to fall rather quickly, just because, that's how it works. One team makes a move and then everybody else starts to scramble because they want to get their things done and they don't want to get, undercut. So Panthers wise, I'm still everything that I'm thinking. I'm not hearing anything. Nobody seems to be hearing anything, but my impression is it's trending in a Brunette way. Like I said last week, I think he's involved one way or another, whether they try to retain him as an assistant, just based on his familiarity with the players and how the great relationships he has and how he knows what they're trying to do. Or if they let him come back as a head coach and continue what he's been building. But I think either way, I'd be surprised if he's not behind the bench next year.
All right, so let's test David Dwork's gut on this. So your gut says that Brunette's going to come back. What's your gut say about Huberdeau? Is he going to come back because he's a year away from a big-ass contract? So will they give him the contract and keep him here? Or what's your gut say about him being a part of a trade for another star? Because obviously they're going to need to move other people, including Huberdeau, if they want to acquire a stud next to Barkov. So what's your gut tell you about Hubie's future, or / what's your gut tell you about bringing in another badass star, which is what I truly believe they need next to Barkov?
My gut tells me that I would expect Huberdeau to be locked up long-term, similarly to the way they did with Barkov, unless viewpoints have changed on either side, which I haven't heard anything to that regard. I think they're both kind of, he wants to be here. The Panthers want to keep him here. They believe in what they're building. I don't think that there's a big knee-jerk reaction going on to what happened in the playoffs, that they need to make all these changes, because they were an elite team last season. They should have done more in the playoffs, but they're also learning these lessons as they go along. I don't think a big, any big shift in the foundation is going to be happening. I think the goal is to sign Huberdeau long-term, as they did with Barkov. If you want to dig into my gut a little bit, because I know you'd like a little bit of that gut juice, I question the longevity, not in terms of Huberdeau, but in terms of guys that are 1 year out. I wonder what's going to happen with Mackenzie Weegar. Just because I know that they love the defensemen and they love to hoard them, but he's going to probably going to be garnering a big paycheck. And do they want that flexibility elsewhere? Because where are they going to really get it? Like this year, they may end up trading Patrick Hornquist and getting that, $5 million in some cap space to work with. But outside of that, there's really not a lot of moves to be made. Like there's been rumors that they're working, they're exploring the possibilities, if there are any, of moving Sergei Bobrovsky. That I don't know how viable that is, just because that's a big anchor for any team to be taking on right now. And for the Panthers to retain salary in a move like that kind of defeats the purpose of doing it anyway.
But how many years does he have left now? Because he's been
4.
here 3, so he has 4 more. My God, what an albatross! Oh.
So that's why it's just like maybe when they get.
And by the way, wait a minute. Here's the other thing. Aren't we getting to the point now where you got almost crap or get off the pot with Knight too, right? Because what is he, a career backup, or is he finally ever going to get that chance? So in the next year or two, you've got to make that call already with Knight, right? I would imagine.
I don't know if it's crap or get off the pot time. I mean, he's still just 21 years old. He's ahead of the game.
A year or two. So two more
in 2 years.
Could he be sitting more than 2 more years
as a backup?
3 years? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't think so. I think as we've seen them, and again, new coaching staff, potentially things, viewpoints to change. But the way we've seen them handle Knight to this point is they're just very gingerly bringing him along. They're not trying to push him too hard. I mean, we saw last year he went back and forth to Charlotte a couple of times just so he could get playing time. And I think that's what's been clear, is that this is a kid that wants to play, that he's better when he's playing. He's going to improve the more he plays, which you would think will play into their, next year. I'm thinking similar to this year, you would think like a 60-30 type timeshare between the goaltenders would be the goal. But if Knight goes out and he starts playing lights out and he, turns the corner that you expect at some point in the next couple of years for him to turn, just because as he gets into his mid 20s is usually like the first, what's the word? Like the first, milestone.
Signs.
Yeah. Like that, when you get into your like 23, 24, 25 as a young goaltender, that's when you can really make a shift and really your body starts to catch up to your mind a little bit and what you've been learning. But Knight is so ahead of the game. And again, this is going to be the last year of his entry-level contract. So you wonder, how much playing time does he end up getting this year? How does he end up turning a corner this year? And what impact will that have when he signs his next deal? Because his next deal is usually a bridge deal. You go from ELC bridge deal, then you get your big deal. How expensive is it going to be to get him on this bridge deal, potential bridge deal, if he goes out and has a show-stopping season, as opposed to if they have another year? So, and again, like you can't hope for one or the other, because it's not like you're not going to hope for him to play well.
Right.
But the better he plays, the more you may be handcuffing yourself financially. So it's an interesting dynamic that we're going to see play out with the goaltending. And I know for sure that you're going to be keeping an eye on, because I know, like me, you like to watch the goalies.
Yeah, no, definitely. I always watch the goalies. And plus with Bob, it's kind of become a thing to watch the goalies as it is. But it is they are getting to a point where if you are committed to the kid, you're going to have to make a commitment to him at one point. It may not be this coming year, but I would figure by the following season, the kid has to either show you he's the guy, or you're convinced that he's maybe not the guy. And then you start searching for somebody else, at that point. So, all right. And so the other thing, you think Huberdeau is going to stay. So if he is going to stay, then there's really no shot to go get that other star. Because how many players are they going to get rid of in order to accommodate that salary too?
No, well, I mean, I wouldn't discount the idea that they may have another star, coming up on their own roster, and Anton Lundell.
Oh, okay. Okay. From within. Okay.
Yeah, and also they've got a kid named Justin Sourdiff who's going pro this year that just won the WHL championship. He's been tearing it up. And again, it's junior level, but just in terms of prospects that you can get excited about, there's not a lot. The well isn't particularly deep right now. Just because of, they've had to give away a lot of futures in order to build what they have now, and that's a win now team. But I think from within, at least Anton Lundell, perhaps, I'm not totally convinced on a Grigory Denisenko, their first round pick from a few years ago. We found out last week that he had a broken kneecap, and that's why he missed so much time in the second half of the season. Let's see, Heponiemi, he showed some decent signs in limited time in the NHL next year. So it's not the well isn't completely dry, but it's shallow. I'm hopeful. I'm bullish on Anton Lundell. I think I think he's a guy that the front office sees big things for as well. And like Spencer Knight, just barely old enough to drink. So we'll see. The options are limited. Hopefully these guys work out. If it doesn't, they're in trouble because the options aren't going to be very much. I mean, granted, you're not in huge trouble because you've still built a hell of a roster and you're still going to have Barkov and Huberdeau and these guys locked up. But in terms of those supplemental pieces, it'll be tough.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. And of course, man, you get locked out of your home, you're locked out of your car, call alennylocksmith.com, 855-869-5625. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, even our friends, even our Tampa Bay Lightning friends, and also our Orlando Magic friends. You can also call A. Lenny Locksmith. Even our Phoenix Coyote friends can also call A. Lenny Locksmith because we got locations all over there. So make sure you call them 855-869-5625. They also program car keys too, since some of these car keys have to be programmed. David, what are you working on WPLG and the next Chirpin' the Cats podcast?
Right now, I am kind of getting all my ducks in a row ahead of the draft and the new league year coming up. I mean, obviously, the coaching the coaching situation is something that we're all keeping a close eye on. But right now, I'm kind of getting everything set up. I might be going to Montreal for the draft. It's a possible move that is still in the works, so we'll see. But there's some prep going. I think even though the Panthers don't have the most flexibility, to think that they're going to be boring in the next month would be a naive viewpoint.
Right.
I think if you've been paying attention to Bill Zito, there will be something going on. So I'm just kind of enjoying the downtime right now. Watched a little U.S. Open this morning, getting ready for what should be a fun few weeks coming up here in short order.
They're too close, dude. The Panthers are too close to screw around. And Viola and Sifu want to win, man. So those guys are right there in front of in Zito's office going, what do we need to do to get over the hump? We need to get over the damn hump.
Dude, the stage is set. Like they got the All-Star game coming here next year. They got plenty of attention this year with how good they were, the President's Trophy. The table is set. Yeah. They can have a really successful year in a lot of different ways, not just on the ice next season, if they play their cards right.
Yeah, you're a great opportunity to sell the hell out of hockey here in South Florida. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. Remember, subscribe also to Chirpin' the Cats podcast and catch his work there at WPLG. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Brush up on that French.
Oui, senor.
All right, brother. Be good. There you go. David Dwork getting it done as always. By the way, did you see Herschel Walker? Herschel Walker at this point needs to just shut up. You saw his, I don't know, you guys see his rant on how he would have how he can control gun control and all that stuff. It was like a really dumbass rant. Well, Herschel now has been caught in a couple of lies. Yep, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution has looked into Walker's past speeches where he made claims, including in 2017, when he told the crowd, I worked for the Cobb County Police Department. Well, they checked, and the Cobb County Police Department, who revealed they have no record of Walker working on the force. Walker's campaign responded, stating that Walker was an honorary deputy. Former DeKalb County District Tom Morgan criticized Walker, stating that honorary is title for like a junior ranger badge. Walker's campaign also stated he spent a week at FBI school in Quantico. This does not make him an FBI agent, as special agent training requires a minimum of 20 weeks. In addition to his law enforcement claims, Walker also was found to have falsely claimed to have been his high school valedictorian as well and graduated from the University of Georgia. The former football star turned Republican senator, Walker has expressed enormous pride and love for his adult son while taking principled stand against fatherless households and deadbeat dads, specifically in the Black community. And he says, I want to apologize to the African American community because the fatherless home is a major, major problem, Walker said in September of 2020. Well, like a father to some of those kids that has never been fathered, the month before, Walker, who co-parented his 22-year-old son Christian with both his ex-wife and current wife, told right-wing internet personality Diamond and Silk that if you have a child and a woman, even if you leave the woman, you don't leave the child. Well, Walker has publicly acknowledged that he has a second son who he has apparently been estranged from as the biological father since birth a decade ago. The Daily Beast broke that story. They don't want to name the kids. They don't want to say the kid's name because he's underage, and they should not include him in all of that. So you say you work with the FBI, but you didn't. You say you're a sheriff, but you work for the sheriff's department, but you didn't. You say that you should, take care of all your children, and you don't take care of all your children. It's Herschel Walker is stupid and he's a liar. You got to listen to his explanation on gun control. That was classic. That was classic. I mean, like I said, that jock thing, it's real. Okay? It's real. By the way, how's your boy Vince McMahon doing? Did you see that lawsuit? God. You know the worst part about that lawsuit? Okay, so he has sexual relations with an employee, and he gives her hundreds of thousands, but then he passed her on to another employee. Did you see that in the story? No, get the mic there so you can.
That guy's married to the Bella Twins' mom. Or what? I'm still doing some research for my show.
Wow.
It's a bad story. It's
a disgusting story on every level out
She was
there.
brought in as a paralegal. Then she got a promotion and then a $100,000 raise.
Yep.
When everybody else was getting budget cuts. And then the $3 million non-disclosure. And apparently the reason the story broke was because there's a plethora of these non-disclosures that are being found. So it's not just the one is the one that the story's based on, but there apparently are more that they're looking into. So this is a story that's going to continue to go, and it's just it's something that has been brought up numerous times during the whole time with WWE. So it's just it's one of those stories that's gonna. This might be the steroid trial couldn't do it, but this might be the downfall of
McMahon?
Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Who would take over? Would his daughter take over?
No, his daughter This is the thing. This is like if you put together. Stephanie McMahon went on leave in May, the beginning of May.
Right.
This was sent to WWE headquarters in April. She stepped away for family reasons. She's in charge of the brand of WWE, which means she would have been front and center on this story. Nobody knows if the two kind of coincide, but now there's some more, substantial, I guess, substance given to why possibly she stepped away from all of her duties. And now this story's coming out, which she would have to been front and center defending her dad, WWE. However, she stepped away to spend more time with her family.
Okay.
But Nick Khan would be, I guess, the person kind of set up he took over all of Stephanie's duties. Vince McMahon still owns a majority of the B stocks, which are the controlling interests of WWE. So he does have that controlling interest. The board, which is the one investigating all this, is set up in, I guess, his favor since he set it up.
Oh, okay. So,
the board is.
All right,
is
so
there. But with
there's
this
like-
story
there's-
coming out, there's not a lot there's not a lot you can just kind of, you know what, they don't know about this. Let's put this under the rug. Let's put this, and again, this was an anonymous people sent this out. Not the person that signed the NDA, supposedly a close friend of hers, is the one that reported this.
Would the sport suffer if he's gone?
I don't know that the sport suffers if anybody.
Because
I don't know that anybody is.
The root beer league is doing just fine, and it has no Vince.
But fine for there because they're 3 years old. They're barely making a 1 rating, whereas Vince is making 2s and with SmackDown and 1.7s with Raw. But again, how much is, and supposedly, if you listen to what's being told, Vince has his hand on everything WWE, now for good or for bad. He has his finger on everything. Some people say if he let some of that go, it would be better. Some say, again, for instance, the Jeff Hardy situation.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy was with WWE. They would not allow him to, he was on strict everything, so he walked out of a match, which ended up getting him let go by WWE. Goes back to AEW. He's on his own, and now he's fallen back into his old ways.
Right.
So again, but again, will it be better? I think at times he's gotten too old for the. It's passed him by on certain things.
Okay, happens to all of us.
And again, but what makes it better? I don't know. But again, if this is 100, if this is what's going on, he needs to be taken out regardless. Yeah. I mean, whether it's good for wrestling or bad for wrestling, it needs to be.
Yeah, you can't have.
It needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, that kind of PR is not going to fly. Yeah, you can't have that. But it sounds like it's hard to get rid of him because he's so controlling of everything.
It almost sounds like he owns everything. He's sold enough to where he is.
Sounds like Putin. Like you can't vote him out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not saying he's communist or anything or he's Putin. I'm just saying he's controlling it like Putin.
Yeah. Well, it's his baby. He created
That's
it.
That's
the thing.
Mike says, why aren't you mentioning Nancy Pelosi's husband getting arrested for DUI? I don't know why. What's up with that loser? I have no idea. Why? What's up with him? Who cares about it? We're not here to talk about all the politics, like everything going on in the news and politics. And by the way, Mike, I get it, brother. You're a Republican, so you got to talk about a Democrat and all that. I don't really give a rat's ass about either side, my brother. Okay. So I don't care. If he got arrested for DUI, I hope he goes to jail and serves a good bit of time. That's all I know. No matter who you are, Republican, Democrat, whoever. Bob Kuchenberg, who had multiple DUIs, go to jail. Okay. What the hell is Lewis talking about? Vic being a Hall of Famer? Yeah, no, Marcel. I have no idea on that one. That was Michael Vick is not a Hall of Famer in any way, shape, or form in the NFL ever. He'll never get in. None of that. And that stuff about impact on the game and all that. They don't put you in the Hall of Fame for that. They don't put. You got to actually accomplish something. And just because you ran around a lot, that's not a quarterback. He played quarterback. You're supposed to excel with your arm. I do remember there was a Vic game here in Miami that I swear to you, he couldn't miss a pass. He was on target, like he was just on a roll that day. I swear it was like 27 of 30 or 31 or 32. Like he only had a couple of incomplete passes and like 3 touchdowns. And there was one touchdown that was just absolutely beautiful. Because the guy, as I've talked about, athletes will freak you out because they're athletes. So they can do things that a lot of people can't do. But that doesn't mean just because you're a great athlete, you can be a great quarterback and a consistent passer. That's a whole different ball game. Now, can you get there to the game one day and you're on just like any of you out there that you go play your pickup basketball game, and that day you're on, dude. You're hitting all your shots. You're rarely missing, and your buddies are like, "Dude, you're hot today. You're hitting all the shots," and that's the kind of deal. There was a touchdown to Jefferson. I don't even, I don't know. It was a hell of a day against the Dolphins. I remember him throwing one where he was rolling to, I believe, his left and then threw it downfield to the left side. I think that was the Jefferson one. And it was just a nasty play. Nasty play, nasty touchdown. It was crazy. Let's see, what else do we have here to do on the chat board before we wrap up here. All right. We thank Anthony Chang, Alan Poupart, Marcel Louis Jacques, David Dwork, as always, for supporting us and chiming in. We thank all of you out there, as always. If you made a donation to Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, thank you, as always. Those of you that also dropped in the super chats, thank you. If you have a business and you want to be a part of ours, you can call our business line. Only for business, for sponsors, not to talk sports, not to do anything else, just for business. If you want to join us, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. If you want to bring our show on the road to your business, we can go there and anywhere in the world. Tomorrow, we'll be at the KSDT CPA offices in Dadeland, and no, you cannot visit us there, okay? Although, you know what? If you go there and become a client, then tell them, okay, now that I'm a client, can I go visit Owen Sean doing the show? And they'll bring you over to the dining room, that 3,000 square foot dining room that they have. That thing is enormous, man. God, that's a nice kitchen. That kitchen is bigger than how many offices in South Florida, right? Holy crap. You think about that. Their kitchen is bigger than a ton of offices in South Florida. It's a lot of people working in different offices that are smaller than that kitchen. That's how impressive it is. But anyway, we'll be at the